Your Honor, the next matter is Hartzog with Ms. Basso, and that would remain set on docket day March 6th, if I'm not mistaken.
That's correct, Your Honor. Thank you.
A moment while I find it. And is Hartzog present or have?
There's a waiver. I'm under that impression, Your Honor, from speaking with him.
All right, state's in
Final,
agreement?
yes.
Yes, Your Honor, the state's in agreement.
Right,
Final matter.
6 for docket day. And if you have anything, if you need me to stop or slow down, please say so. We don't want to get it ahead.
Your Honor, the final matter is Nicholas, Nickles. There are depots being set. However, docket day, it would remain set for that date for a possible disposition. That's my understanding from speaking with the state as well.
And waiver or present?
There's a waiver, Your Honor.
Do you have any objection on Nicholas?
No, Your Honor, no objection.
Your Honor, that's all I have. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
May it please the Court, Your Honor, Brad Johnson here on behalf of Alex Coffin, C-O-F-F-I-N. Mr. Coffin is present in the courtroom, Your Honor. I've spoken to the state, and we're going to set this for docket day without subpoenas. I just received a new offer today, and I haven't had a chance to talk to my client because he is in custody of the Department of Corrections. So.
How long has he been in custody now?
He's
Looks like quite some time. Why shouldn't we have subpoenas if you don't settle the case? He's been
Your Honor,
in jail for over 2 years, or almost 2 years.
Your Honor, go
I
ahead.
think we're close to resolution.
Yeah, I believe that
That's not my point. I'm glad to hear that. If it settles, fine. You can cancel the trial, but otherwise, this case needs to be resolved.
yes, Your Honor. Well, Your Honor, we'll set it for March for docket day.
All right? Does the judge set a trial date preliminarily? Well, it'll be up to the judge presiding at that time, but I would encourage you to think about that reality.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. So it'll be left for March 6th at 9 o'clock.
Thank you, Your Honor. That concludes my business with the court. May I be excused?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Good morning, Your Honor. Chris Garrett, for the record, I have 3 cases on the docket, or 3 clients on the docket today. There are waivers on file for everyone. The first is Chris Garrett on behalf of Landis Britt, 22 CF 2015.
Last name again, please.
Britt, B as in boy, R-I-T-T.
All right. For continuance.
To docket day, Your Honor, plea to continue. The state has given us an amended offer today of basically dismissal and court costs. Could I get a payment slip from the
Request
clerk?
granted. Next case.
Thank you, Your Honor. Then I have Chris Garrett on behalf of Leroy Hill, 22 CF 2291. If we could leave that case also set for docket day. Plea to continue. The state has given us a new offer. I don't believe there's any objection.
No objection, Your Honor.
Moment. I think I find it on the docket here. And that's Leroy Hill.
Yes, Your Honor, that was Leroy Hill.
Request granted.
Thank you, Your Honor. And then finally, I have Chris Garrett on behalf of Chris Royal, 22 CF 2695. If we could have a continuance to next cycle, I don't believe the state has any objection.
No objection.
All right, we're later on the file. Motion to continue granted without objection. It's a new case. And next court date? April 24, 9 o'clock.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Got a Coy Browning for Robert Bradley, 22 CF 2945. That's Robert Bradley. He has a waiver on file. Ask to leave it set for your docket day for a plea.
And that's, is it Robert Bradley?
Yes, sir.
Okay, state in agreement.
Mr. Browning, whose case is that?
Robert Bradley.
I have Eugene Bradley.
I have Robert Blake Bradley, 22 CF 2945.
Yeah, no objection.
Make sure I didn't grab the wrong file.
We're all in the same case?
The case that I have is 22 CF 2945.
It's Robert Bradley.
Probably the different first name. And
Okay.
what did you ask, Mr.
We're going to
Browning?
leave it set for docket day.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
That's March 6th. Is that right?
Yes, Judge.
All right.
Next, Judge Melissa Fournier, F-O-U-R. That's 22.
Was that F?
Melissa Fournier with the F, Judge, F Foxtrot. 22 CF 1711. I have a waiver on file. We We ask to leave that set for docket day for anticipated plea.
No objection, Your Honor.
All right, and that's on the 6th. All right, request granted.
Judge, lastly, I have Mr. Metrek. It's M-E-C-H-R-E-K, Metrek, 22 CF 2434. Mr. Metrek, come on up. This will be a plea, Judge. Mr. Metrek's going to withdraw his previously not guilty.
Name spelled again?
Yeah, Judge, it's,
May I? Probably, Your Honor, you have it as B-O-U, Metrek. So under the B, and the case number is 22 CF 2434.
thanks, Ms. Lee.
Here it is. Metric. Got it.
Thank you, Judge. Judge, he's going to withdraw his previously not guilty plea, enter a no contest plea to as charged. In agreement with that would be a withhold of adjudication, 24 months probation, pay $767 in court costs, 24 hours community service work, which can be bought out at statutory rate, no contact with the victim, Dennis Petway, mental health evaluation, any recommended treatment, forfeit the firearm used in the incident, $40 a month cost supervision. And I have a written plea agreement. May I approach, Judge?
You may. And you don't need to announce the terms if it's all spelled out in writing.
Okay.
But thank you for other counsel later on to try to move this docket.
Absolutely.
Sir, if you'll stand up to the microphone and raise your right hand to be sworn.
Raise your right hand.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth so help you God?
Yes, sir.
And state your name, please.
Rokus Boomeshrek.
And, sir, I have the written plea agreement here. And is this your signature on that plea
Yes.
agreement? Did you read all this document before you signed it?
Yes, sir.
Do you have any questions about anything in it?
No, sir.
Do you understand everything in it?
I do.
Do you understand that by entering the plea, you're giving up your right to a jury trial? You're giving up all the listed jury trial rights and giving up the right to appeal whether you're guilty of this charge.
Correct.
Counsel, did you explain all the rights to your client?
Yes, Judge.
So that means that you're giving up everything except the right to appeal fundamental issues or issues on sentencing errors. Otherwise, you're waiving everything else. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
All right. And have you had enough time to talk to your attorney about your decision?
I did, sir.
Are you satisfied with the advice given?
Yes, sir.
And you're facing up to 5 years in prison,
he
5 years
asked me,
probation,
and I told
$5,000
him
fine
to
is the legal
Go
maximum.
downstairs.
But you're being given a withheld adjudication, which means you will not be a convicted felon as a consequence of this. However, if you were to violate probation in any way, you could become a convicted felon, and that could affect your life in very serious ways in the future. Do you understand that?
I do.
And for anyone who is here, I just want to mention to you, if you are not an American citizen, a plea to any criminal offense could result in possible deportation. All right. State have the factual basis here. Sir, can you tell me what happened just in your own words?
It's,
Counsel, you're stipulating to a factual basis?
Yes, Judge.
Okay, tell me what happened, sir.
in a nutshell, Your Honor, I had a gentleman who drive by my house and slows down. When I'm in the front yard watering the plants or something, and he slows down, and I know he looks at me because there is a window tint. I couldn't see his face. And then he goes up the street. And then he parks diagonal from my house at two times a day. One time in the morning around 9 o'clock, and one time in the afternoon around 1:30 when I pick up my son from school.
All right.
On the fourth day, I was coming back from the supermarket and I saw him coming in, slowing in front of my house. I followed him. I took a picture of his license plate, and when he stopped at the Dollar Tree, I was going to get a glimpse of him to see who this person is. He opened the door and then came towards my car. While I'm getting my phone to take a picture of him, I saw him right by my car.
Okay. And anything else happened other than try to take a picture?
In a way, I panicked. I reached on the floorboard on my case. I have a 40 millimeter. I opened my case and I said, "Stop," just like that. And he backed up. And then I took a
Didn't raise
picture.
the gun at him. Why did you do that?
I panicked.
Were you afraid for your safety?
Correct.
Did he have any weapons?
At the time, I didn't see, but when I saw him going back, he did not have any weapons, sir.
So why didn't you just drive off?
I just wanted to know who this person is, so I can report
When you
him.
came up there close, why, instead of going for your gun, why didn't you just drive off? Just didn't think about it in the moment?
No, sir.
Sir, if considering all that background, I want to let you know there may be a possible defense here. If a jury could believe that you were in reasonable fear for your well-being, you may have a defense which a jury could find was sufficient to result in a reasonable doubt. You're waiving that defense for all time by entering this plea and taking this deal. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
And so if you mess up on probation, you end up facing, and there's a possibility you could be facing a prison sentence if you mess up on probation. You'd be very close to it. The judge will not hear you complain, say, Judge, don't send me off. You know, I really was afraid for my safety, and this guy had been stalking me, and, you know, and you should have called the police early on when he was brought by your house and let them intervene. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, do you want to take this deal or not, knowing that you'll be giving up a possible defense?
I take the deal that Mr. Brownie
You have to make the final choice, sir. Your attorney's here to give you his best advice, but you're the one that has to resolve the issue.
Yes, sir.
So you want the deal?
Yes, sir.
You find your plea to be freely, voluntarily, knowingly, and intelligently made. There's a sufficient factual basis to support the plea. Any possible defense is voluntarily waived. I have a score sheet with 36 total sentence points. Any objection?
No objection from the state.
Objection, please.
And, sir, at this time, the court will withhold adjudication. You'll be placed on 2 years probation. You'll pay $767 in court costs. You'll perform 24 hours of community service work. That can be bought out at a statutory rate. You'll have no contact with the victim, Dennis Petway. You'll have a mental health evaluation within 30 days. You'll follow through with any recommended treatment. You'll forfeit a firearm in this incident. You'll pay $40 a month cost of supervision. Are there any other obligations here?
No, Your Honor.
Sir, you're advised of your right to appeal within 30 days. You have the right to an attorney. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
Okay, okay.
Sit down.
Yeah, the probation should be here.
Oh, folks, security's going to have an announcement for you. I know this is a public proceeding, but we have, as you understand, a very large docket, and so security is going to make an announcement for you at this moment.
If you are a defendant and your name is on the docket, you can stay seated in here. If you are a family member, you're going to be asked to leave at this time.
Apparently, we have video here, so anyone can watch it. And what's the contact information?
Okaloosa Court TV.
This is on the internet, Okaloosa Court TV.
Judge, that's all I have, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Who's ready next?
My name is Brandy Merrifield. You will find my cases under my law partner, Tim Flaherty, with an F.
Defendant's name, please.
The first one is Grayson Clark, 22 CF 2206, and that's Clark with a C. There is a waiver on file for Mr. Clark. He's in a juvenile facility. We'd like to leave this set for docket day. Anticipate a plea. We just need to coordinate Zoom, Judge.
No objection.
Have you prepared a transport order to make sure he gets here?
Judge, we are trying to coordinate the plea via Zoom because he's in a juvenile facility for quite some time.
Do you have any objection to that?
No, Your Honor.
Make sure you follow through and get that coordinated. And that next date is what?
Absolutely, Judge.
What's the date?
We'd like to do it on docket day, March 6th, if possible.
All right. You need to coordinate to get that all set up with the institution
Absolutely, Judge.
and get Zoom information from the, I believe it'll probably be the judicial assistant who's helping in the vacant division.
Yes, sir. The next case I have is Paul Guy in 22 CF 242, 542, and 1528. There is a waiver on file. We'd like to leave this one set for docket day for plea on March the 6th.
I have, it looks like, 3 cases on the docket. This is applicable to all 3.
It will, Judge.
State have any objection?
No objection.
All right. Request granted.
The next case is Wyatt Mann in 22 CF 3068, Mann, M-A-N-N. There is a waiver on file. It is the first time up. We have received discovery. I've discussed this with the state, and they did not have an objection to a continuance. Would like to resolve it next cycle. I believe the date is 4/24 for the next pretrial.
No objection.
Granted.
And the
Order in the
last,
court, please.
the last case, judge, is an inmate, Jared Skiles, 18 CF 3045.
We have him in the machine ready to come out.
Yes. Mr. Skiles is present, Judge. It's a rather extensive case. I have been working with both prosecutors in this matter, and the state has no objection to one final continuance. We anticipate resolving it on the next cycle.
How is it spelled?
Skiles.
There is no objection from the state, Your Honor. I'm covering for ASA Rogers.
Counsel, this case needs to get resolved. This
Absolutely, Judge.
case is many years old.
It is, Judge. There was an impossible amount of witnesses in this case, and we just recently concluded depositions.
I'm aware of COVID interventions that had impacted the case. Mr. Skiles, do you have any objection to yet another delay? All right, granted.
Thank you, Your Honor. That is all I have today.
And that's going to be the 24th of April?
Yes. Thank you,
All right,
Judge.
Thank you. Next counsel, please. Counsel, I'm sorry, once again, your name, please?
Brandy Merrifield. I believe I was
Thank you,
number
Ms.
4 or 5 on the list.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning.
Justina Turner for Max Alvarado in
Is that with an O?
ALV. There is a waiver on file, and the case number is 19 CF 2316. This matter, I believe, is being handled with State Attorney Zach Rogers. I'd be asking for a continuance at this time.
This is another very old case.
Yes, sir.
What's the reason here?
I have a Daubert hearing motion that I'm working on to be filed.
Need to get it filed before the next docket day and scheduled for hearing.
Yes, sir.
No objection from the state, Your Honor.
And your client's in agreement?
Yes, sir.
Motion granted.
Thank you.
Morning, Your Honor, if I may. Greg Wibbs here on behalf of Jerry LeBlanc, who's present before the court. In it's case 2022-1788.
That's LeBlanc, you say?
Yeah, LeBlanc with an L, as in Larry. And he's present before the court, Judge. What we'd like to do with Jerry's case is we'd like to set him on your next docket day next week. We're close to working this out. We'd set it plea or continuance. I don't think
Agreement,
that...
sir?
Yes, sir.
Reset for March 6th, 9 o'clock. Stay in touch with the attorney, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor. I have nothing further before the court.
Thank you.
May I be excused?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Next counsel. All right. Mr. Powell, you want to come up? Do you have a client present? Or, I'm sorry, we have another attorney. I didn't see you moving, counsel.
I'll jump in.
Trying to move this docket.
I don't know where I am on the list, Your Honor, but I'll jump. I think I'm
We're
close.
just trying to get through it.
The first case I have 4. The first one is Joshua Hovermill, is not present, does have a waiver.
It's with an H.
Yes, it is, Your Honor. And we had difficulty serving the alleged victim in the case. I think the state's still trying to locate them, so I anticipate perhaps a state continuance.
All right.
I don't know.
And you're Mr. LaPella, is that correct?
I'm Mr. LaPella, yes.
Yes, sir.
And,
State have any objection?
No, Your Honor.
Motion granted.
Okay.
Next case, please.
Ivan King is an inmate.
In the queue.
Judge, this is an old case. We're finalizing some preparation for trial in this case, but because of my availability for this trial cycle, I'd like to pass it one last time. I also anticipate setting a different case for trial as well this cycle.
Another very old case.
It is.
Over 2 years old. State have any objection?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. What's the problem here? What's your objection?
I didn't communicate with Mr. Lupella. I didn't know he intended on asking for a continuance. The state is ready for trial.
All right. And Mr. King, what's your position on this matter? And what's the problem with being ready for trial, Mr. LaPella?
Well, Judge,
Because you'd have a docket day and then a trial date will be
because of
several
the,
weeks off.
well, because I'm not going to be out of town the last, from the 17th to 27th of March, and I don't,
Trial weeks?
and I don't know how long this case could take to try. It's quite a long
Well,
case.
what's the state's estimate about trial?
I'm sorry, Your Honor,
How long do you think it'll take to try the case?
3 days.
Well, since counsel has announced that he's going to be unavailable that date, you need to clear for the next trial cycle, counsel, and get this matter resolved.
Of course.
Your Honor, may I ask, however, that this case be set for docket day on March 6th because we may be able to negotiate a plea agreement.
Always interested in trying to resolve the case.
That's
So,
fine, Judge.
Granted.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Your attorney will be in touch, hopefully with a new offer.
Thank you. Your Honor, the next case I have is Robert Needner, not present, does have a
Last
waiver.
name again?
Needner with an N. We'd like to set this for March 6th for status. We anticipate being able to resolve it on that day.
Your client present?
He's not, but he does have a waiver.
Is that
And there's no objection from the state, Your Honor.
granted?
Thank you, Judge.
States?
Next case is Christopher Whitaker. He's not present but does have a waiver, starts with a W, Whitaker. We'd like to leave this one set for trial for the week of the March 13th.
I have 2 cases on the docket for that defendant.
That's correct, Judge.
All right.
Yes, Your
Which
Honor.
one are we talking about?
2019-35, Your Honor. And the state is also prepared for trial, and that week is acceptable. So we'd ask that that be set for that week or come back docket day.
All right, what you want to
And I
set
can,
it for trial?
that's fine, Judge, but I do want to preface that with saying I can only be available for the 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th, so Monday through Thursday. Friday, I'm flying out. So as long as we try it in the first part of that week, we should be okay.
Do that, have your witnesses ready?
Yes, sir.
All right, get your client, is the client in custody?
No, Judge.
Notify your client. So this is going to be on the first case, and the other case will just tag along?
Yes, please.
All right, so that date again will be March,
13 March. And, Your Honor, will we be seen on docket day again?
you need it on docket day, Mr. LaPella?
That's fine. That's fine. As long we, my client's from out of town, I'd like to be able to possibly waive his appearance for that date if necessary, if we don't have a resolution on the table.
Well, we'll tentatively set it for docket day,
That's fine.
subject to a waiver of appearance, and hopefully you can resolve it otherwise.
Very well. That's perfect, Judge. Thank you. That's all I have, if I could be excused.
Next, counsel.
Morning, Judge. Chris Scott here on behalf of Tommy Sullivan, who's making his way up to the podium. This is case number 22-3086. And, Your Honor, today Mr. Sullivan would like to withdraw his previously entered plea of not guilty. Withdraw his previously entered plea of not guilty and enter a plea of no contest to the following. Both of these are in case number 22-2086. Count 1. Fire a weapon into a dwelling, which is a second-degree felony, punishable by up to 15 years, Department of Corrections. Resisting officer without violence, which is a first-degree misdemeanor, punishable by up to 1 year in jail, with the understanding that if the court accepts this plea, that adjudication will be withheld. Mr. Sullivan will do 36 months on probation. He'll pay court costs, fines, and fees. I believe that's $415 is the standard fee, $100 cost of prosecution. He will be subjected to substance abuse and alcohol evaluation and counseling, and if deemed necessary, and zero tolerance for the use of controlled substances or alcohol, random urinalysis at his defense, and he must enroll in this within 30 days of sentencing. He'll also undergo a mental health evaluation and counseling as deemed necessary and enroll in this service as well within 30 days of sentencing. Forfeit any seized items.
Just bring your plea agreement up.
Yes, Your Honor.
And,
May I approach?
yes. And I understand there's no 1020 life issue in this case with these charges?
That's correct, Your Honor. It's just shooting into a building and resisting without violence.
All right. All right, sir, if you will raise your right hand to be sworn, please. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Yes, sir. And state your name, sir.
Tommy Sullivan.
Mr. Sullivan, did you hear me explain the rights of the first person who entered a plea this morning? Sure. And I've got the written plea agreement, and Is this your signature on that agreement?
It is, sir.
And did you read all this before you signed it?
I did, sir.
Do you have any questions about anything in it?
No, sir.
Do you understand everything in it?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand that by entering a plea, you're giving up your right to a jury trial, all trial rights, and the right to appeal guilt, but you keep the right to appeal fundamental issues or issues on sentencing errors?
Yes, sir.
And have you had enough time to talk to your attorney about your decision?
Yes, sir.
Are you satisfied with the advice given?
Yes.
Does anyone promise you anything other than what is in this agreement to get you to plead?
No, sir.
Have you been threatened or made to plead when you don't want to?
No, sir.
Any medicine, drugs, or alcohol in the last 24 hours?
No, sir.
Ever committed to a mental health facility?
No, sir.
Tell me what happened.
Sir?
Tell me what happened.
Went to dinner with my wife. The Army-Navy game was on. We have a daughter of ours that's at West Point. Went and bought a Coca-Cola. I was talking to a patron at the bar, asked where the restroom was at, put my drink down. Came back, finished my Coca-Cola, and don't remember anything after that, sir.
Okay, so you don't recall whether you fired into a building or anything?
I do realize I did fire into a building.
Do you remember doing it?
No, sir, I do
Do you
not.
remember why you did it?
No, sir.
Okay, and what about resisting some officers?
I was asleep outside my house, sir.
And they woke you up and you didn't
Yes,
know
sir.
who it was?
No, sir.
How, were you still under the influence at the time?
I didn't realize, sir, I was out of my mind. I don't remember anything
Well, let
until
me ask you
hours
this.
later, hours later.
How much had you had to drink?
I had one drink, sir.
Anything in it that you're aware of?
No, sir.
Okay. Had you taken any other medications?
No, nothing but my normal medication I take every day, sir.
What do you take?
I take trazodone for sleep. I take Tegretol for my seizures and PTSD. And I take a pain medicine for my back.
And how long had it been since you'd taken your last medication?
Oh, sir, it's been the morning.
So, here's my point. Do you think the interaction of your medications with the alcohol contributed to your state of mind?
I do not, sir.
Do you think somebody slipped you a Mickey?
I do, sir.
All right. You may have a defense in this case if it was an involuntary consumption that caused you to be intoxicated to the extent that you didn't know what you were doing. And you're giving up that defense by entering your plea. Do you understand that?
I understand that, sir.
Do you think it's best to do so?
Absolutely, sir.
You understand that under these circumstances that you're having withheld adjudication, and you heard me talk about that a little bit ago. You further understand that with your score sheet here, you'll be getting close to looking at or possibly likely to get a prison sentence if you mess up on this probation. You understand that? So after today, that possible defense is gone for all time. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
You think this is best?
Yes, sir.
Find your plea to be freely, voluntarily, knowingly, and intelligently made. There is a sufficient factual basis to support your plea. Any possible defense is voluntarily waived. Have the score sheet with 36.2 total sentence points. Any objection?
No, Your Honor.
And at this time, sir, the court will withhold adjudication of guilt. You'll be placed on 3 years probation on count 1 and a year probation on count 2. That'll be concurrent. You'll pay your court costs. And what are the total court costs here?
Madam Clerk.
$515, all right? And you'll submit to a substance abuse evaluation within 30 days. If any treatment is recommended, you'll start the treatment within 30 days of the recommendation. You will continuously attend and successfully complete the treatment as well as any aftercare. You'll forfeit any items that were seized in this case. Presumably that includes a firearm. You'll also submit to a mental health evaluation, appropriate counseling. You'll have that evaluation within 30 days as well. You have no contact with Lisa Sullivan or Betty Sullivan. You'll possess no firearms. And you have no objection to allowing witnesses to appear via Zoom or telephone if there is a VOP hearing on this matter, according to this agreement. How are we going to have somebody, I guess you'd have the person have a notary present if they're appearing by telephone?
Yes, Your Honor. Usually they would appear at a courthouse or somewhere where a notary is available.
And are there any other requirements that I may have overlooked?
None.
Your Honor, I believe you announced no contact with Lisa Sullivan and Betty
No
Sullivan.
violent
It's
contact.
No violent contact.
That's correct.
Anything else?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Sir, you're advised of your right to appeal within 30 days. You have the right to an attorney. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed.
Your Honor, is he to report to probation now? He has an ankle monitor on that needs to be
Yes.
removed.
and
check
he'll
in.
be- that'll be
Probation's right there.
released.
Thank you. That concludes my business, Your Honor.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
That please the court, Your Honor. Good morning. Good to see you here, Judge.
See you, sir. Next case,
Yes, sir. Christopher Kearns, Your Honor.
with a K.
Yes, sir. C with a, or Chris with a C and Kearns with a K.
Last name.
And case number 2022 CF 2488. And they just moved the misdemeanor that was associated with this case consolidated into the felony. Judge, we have a hearing, have a waiver on file also for Mr. Kearns. And we have a hearing in the morning to, on a motion to modify from
So
no.
you need to have it heard tomorrow morning, right?
Yes, sir. So I
And you
think
need to
after,
set anything else today, or do that tomorrow after the hearing?
We'll do it tomorrow, Your Honor.
I think the victim's going to be here, Judge, and may shed some light on it for the state and I. So
Thank you.
thank you, Your Honor.
Next case. Okay. And we go down the list here. I skipped over it. Would we already take care of Mr. Johnson's clients?
We did, Judge.
All right.
We'll leave that set for docket day, Judge, so if we don't have.
It'll be reset tomorrow after the hearing.
Oh, thank you, Your Honor.
All right. And Mr. Gilbert? Got away from your list. I apologize. Sir, who's your client?
First case is Mr. Fowler in 22 CF 17, or 2715. I have a waiver on file, and we want to leave that set, plea or pass.
No objection, Your Honor.
And what's the next date on that matter?
So I believe it's March 6th, is that what we're using?
So ordered. Next client?
Mr. Jesse Gainey is an inmate. He's here in 22 CF 2929.
All right.
Your Honor, may I approach?
You may. Has your client had a chance to review that previously?
Yes, Your Honor.
And Mr. Gainey, if you'll raise your right hand to be sworn, sir. You swear affirm testimony you give will be the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Sir.
All right, then state your name, please. And Mr. Gainey, I have a written plea agreement. It indicates that you're pleading no contest to tampering with an electronic monitor and resisting an officer without violence. And I have the written plea agreement. I thought you may have just signed it right here in the courtroom. Is this your signature?
Yes, sir.
And did you have a chance to go over all this document with your attorney before today?
Yes, sir.
So do you have any questions about anything in it?
Sir.
Do you understand everything in it?
Sir.
You understand that by entering your plea, you're giving up your right to a jury trial, all the listed trial rights, and the right to appeal guilt?
Sir.
But you keep the right to appeal fundamental issues or issues on sentencing errors. Have you had enough time to talk to your attorney about your decision?
Yes, sir.
Are you satisfied with his advice?
Sir.
Does anyone promise you anything other than what is in this agreement to get you to plead? Have you been threatened or made to plead when you don't want to? Had any medicine, drugs, or alcohol in the last 24 hours? Ever been committed to a mental health facility?
Yes, sir.
And how long did you stay?
Different times, different.
Say it again?
I've been a couple of times. I don't know, a couple of days though.
Couple days each time?
Sure.
That sounds like more of an observation than a full commitment, sir. And are you currently under the care of a mental health provider?
Yes, sir.
Psychiatrist or psychologist? Supposed to be taking any mental health medicines? All right. So you know where you are and what you're doing?
Sir.
All right. And do we have a score sheet?
Your Honor, if I may, I already spoke with Mr. Gilbert. I will provide the score sheet later today.
What's the score?
One second, Your Honor.
Well, the state's looking that up, sir. One of the conditions here is that you'll be on community control. Do you understand what that is?
Yes, sir.
That's a very strict probation. You have to meet regularly as directed with your community control officer. You cannot leave your home except at approved times to go to approved places for approved purposes, except in dire emergencies. And then you need to immediately notify your community control officer, let's say you have a major medical issue and have to go to the hospital immediately. You understand that? And it's very strict. The worst thing you can do is stop reporting in like you're supposed to. You understand also you'll be a convicted felon, and apparently this will be a concurrent sentence with other sentences you may be presently serving. Do you have anything else holding you in jail right now? Any other cases? So this will not start, as far as your supervision is concerned, until you're released from custody. Is that the party's intent? Is that the state's intent?
Yes, Your Honor. I have the score if you wish to hear. Your Honor, the guideline, the points the defendant scores is 36.3.
No scorable prior record, apparently?
It does have prior record, but that's the total, after calculating the current charges to which he's pleading and the prior record.
Well, is it a scorable prior record? I mean, it looks like he's just put on some supervision here for some recent charges. And so is the prior record truly a prior record that occurred before this adjudication?
Yes, Your Honor, that is prior.
So you have an idea what that might be?
Yes, the prior record amounts to 32.1 points.
So then he'd be 68 points.
No, Your Honor, the prior record is 32 points and the current charges 4 points.
Thank you for that clarification. So it's just 36 total?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. So, sir, if you mess up on this community control, you'll be getting close to it, and the judge could sentence you to state prison if you mess up on community control. Do you understand that? So at this time, do find your, and tell me what happened here with messing with the monitor and resisting without violence. You got the monitor off?
No, sir.
What happened to it?
Got caught on the bed, sir.
And did you report that immediately?
Yes, sir.
And what happened about resisting without violence? Give the officer a false name or run away?
No, sir.
What happened there? So they came out to, or how did you see the officer? Tell me what happened.
I was at the house and arrested me, and they charged me with resisting arrest.
What did you do with the officer? Did you resist in any way, pull away or anything?
I don't remember, sir.
Well, if you had an electronic monitor and it was accidentally disconnected and you immediately reported that, you may have a defense on that allegation. Do you understand that?
I understand that, sir.
And you're giving that defense up
Yes,
for all
sir.
time by entering this plea. And you don't remember what happened with the officer, so to the extent that you had a full defense here, that you didn't do anything illegal, theoretically, it's possible to resist without violence and not commit a crime if there's nothing that you've done to result in the officer being there. You understand that? So under the circumstances, you're waiving any possible defenses to these charges.
Sir.
Do you think that's best?
Sir.
Find your plea to be freely, voluntarily, knowingly, and intelligently made. There's a sufficient factual basis to support the plea. Any possible defenses are voluntarily waived. I'll prove the score sheet on submission. And at this time, sir, you'll be adjudicated guilty. You'll be placed on 1-year community control on count 1. And 1-year probation on count 2. Those probations will be concurrent with each other and with case numbers 22 CF 401 and 402. There'll be standard costs. I believe it'll be $515 assessed. Are there any other requirements here?
No, Your Honor.
That's agreed?
Agree.
Sir, this supervision will commence upon your release from custody, so you'll need to report not later than 10 a.m. the next business day to the probation office and call in, and they'll give you a number. Call in immediately if you're released over the weekend or something, and report in, let's say if you're released on Saturday, go in on Monday morning, unless it's a court holiday. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
Failure to call in, failure to report in on time could be a violation of your community control opportunity. Advisory right to appeal within 30 days. You have the right to an attorney. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed. And Justina Turner.
Your Honor, Charles Berry, in reference to Mr. Gainey here with state probation. Mr. Gainey has a prior sex offense, I believe. He will have to be hooked up on GPS prior to release from the Okaloosa County Jail.
All right.
Request that the fee be $1 a day.
So is there any Jessica Lunsford implication of this decision?
Yes, Your Honor.
Right, were you aware of that, sir? All right. So you have to be checked out on that when they're ready to release. Jail needs to notify to get the monitor there on time so he can be expeditiously released from custody, subject to that monitor, sir. And don't cut it off or have an accident where it gets pulled off. All right, next case, please.
We have another
Next
inmate,
case,
Mr. Langley. However, we can move on to Ms. Vega Maldonado in 22 CF 2973. I have a waiver on file. It's a first time up, request continuance.
And Mr. Gilbert, on the other cases, Mr. Gainey, are you just continuing those at this point?
Tomorrow, the 401, 402 LP first hearing.
Sorry?
Yes, it's tomorrow.
Is there another case on the docket? I only saw one on this docket. That may be on that other docket. It's just not on today's docket.
Vega Maldonado.
I'm talking about Gainey. You said there was
Okay.
another case on Gainey. Was that what you were talking
Tomorrow,
about?
Your Honor, it's tomorrow. The state's coming in.
Okay, so Maldonado. Let me just get to that. Is that M-A-L or M-O?
So it's Vega Maldonado, and it's case 22 CF 2973.
How's his last name spelled?
Vega.
Dega?
Yes, Your Honor. That's his last name?
It's Vega space
Vega.
Maldonado. First name is Marilyn.
Hispanic names are frequently hyphenated names, so there it is. Thank you. The state has no objection?
No objection.
All right.
And then my last case, Your Honor, is Donald Langley, inmate in 23 CF 74. This is his first time up, so we're going to request a continuance. We do have a motion hearing on a motion to suppress set for March 30th, and we have a bond hearing set for tomorrow.
Is that Harvey Langley?
It's Donald Langley.
Donald. Okay, well, I have 3 cases on the docket for Donald. And are they all scheduled for tomorrow or just the one?
So I'm familiar with 23 CF 74, and that's all.
There's also one is apparently some VOPs, 2015 VOPs.
Correct. I think those are, yes, Your Honor, those will be on tomorrow also. That's correct. We tried to set it for today. We're working on it. We got to get them in tomorrow. Because there's a lot of folks on this.
Well, what do we want to do today? Reset for tomorrow, all these cases just pass until tomorrow or not?
Well,
What are we doing here?
it's up to you, counsel. If you can get the bond motion to me and get it set for tomorrow, that's fine. If we could go ahead and address the pretrial today, Judge,
Pretrial
just
can
in
be
case,
continued. Correct.
just in case the clerk can't get the bond hearing on for tomorrow, if we could go ahead and continue this to April 24th for pretrial, and then we'll get this bond hearing set on the docket.
And Mr. Langley, you don't have any objection to that, is that correct?
No,
On the
sir.
new case? All right. Granted. And then what do you need to do, counsel, Ms. Gilbert, today, before tomorrow?
We're going to go back, refile through here for tomorrow bond hearing. We've talked to state, we'll have it tomorrow. He needs to come
Is there a
back tomorrow.
bond motion that's been filed?
There was on Friday.
Did
and
it
it was-
include the VOPs?
Yes, it did. The one I saw signed out did.
All right, well,
It'll be signed out today, so we'll have plenty of notice.
we'll set the VOP cases for tomorrow.
Thank you, Your Honor. That's all I have.
All right, Mr. Allen. Thank you.
Robert Allen, Judge. The last name is Neronskaia, Neronskaia, 21 CF 2817. And I have her here, Judge, with the interpreter.
Tell me where it is on the docket. What's the case number again, please?
21 CF 002817.
Give me the case number again, please.
21 CF 002817.
All right, we have an interpreter present.
Yes, sir, we do.
Okay, and ma'am, if you'll raise your right hand to be sworn, do you swear affirm testimony, or excuse me, the interpretation you make will be true and correct, so help you God?
Yes, Your Honor.
And state your name, please.
Olga Batova.
And Ms. Petrova, have you communicated with Ms. Naranskaya regarding, and can you communicate with her? Have you talked to the client?
During court proceedings.
You can communicate with her?
Yes.
All right. Please translate these proceedings literally.
Absolutely.
Mr. Allen, how do you wish to proceed?
Judge, I spoke to the state attorney, and we wish to continue this to the pretrial conference of April 24th.
State has no objection to that, Your Honor.
All right. Naranskaya, do you have any objection to a continuation until April 24? And you have a charge here where you could get up to 5 years in prison, 5 years probation, or a $5,000 fine. And if you are not an American citizen, you could be subject to deportation if you're found guilty of any crime. Stay in touch with your attorney, please. Your motion is granted, Mr. Allen. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge. And just for the record, PTI was offered, she's rejected that, and we did hire an immigration attorney to discuss with her rights as far as deportation.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, sir.
Good morning, Your Honor. Tim Gibbs on behalf of Charles Currington. It's kind of going out of order here. 22 CF 2262.
And your client's name again, please?
Currington
Is that with a K?
with a C, Your Honor.
C.
Yes, Your Honor.
Judge Joe Warner for the state of Florida.
Your Honor, we're asking for a continuance on this matter to the next cycle. I need an appointment with Mr. Currington to discuss his case. The state has made a plea offer that I'd also like to discuss with him.
Any objection from the state?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Currington, is that acceptable to you?
Yes, sir.
All right, stay in touch with your attorney, please. Motion granted.
Thank you, Judge. Thank you, sir.
Your Honor, I also have a person that, yeah, you got it. I also have a client, Your Honor, this morning that needs an ASL interpreter. That interpreter apparently is waiting via Zoom to sign in. I don't know if that's going to be something we can do today or this morning, but I did just want to make the court aware.
not informed of that. Let me see if I can connect here. They have to have a court-related Zoom address.
I'll check on that, Your Honor, and I'll see where that is.
They have, there was Zoom set up here earlier. No one told me anything about Zoom, so.
I'll check on that, Your Honor.
Have IT come and reopen it. What's the next?
Good morning, Your Honor. Ryan Hardy with Philip Merritt, 21 CF 3302 and 21 CF 3294. Your Honor, we're just going to ask to leave these set for docket day without subpoenas. The state has no objection.
Objection.
Mr. Merritt has 3 cases, is that right?
Yes, Your Honor.
The third case on the docket, well, actually, it's, third case on the docket is actually the most current case, indicates no attorney.
We're working on that.
222724. So we are here, we do have Mr. Hardy representing the defendant on the 21 cases, which, how do you want to proceed on the third case, the 22 case?
Leave it on. We just want to leave. He wants to leave that on the 6th as well, Your Honor.
He needs to get the issue of counsel resolved quickly.
He will.
State have any objection?
No objection.
And technically, Mr. Merritt, you're currently arguably representing yourself on the newest case, unless you hire counsel. Of course, if you cannot afford to hire counsel, one would be appointed for you. Do you have any objection to delaying that case one more time? Or actually, this would be for, I guess, maybe the first time. Be prepared to talk to the judge about hiring or requesting appointed counsel on that case at your next court hearing. That's April 24, is that right, counsel?
March 6th.
Oh, March 6th, okay, March 6th, thank you.
Your Honor, my next case is Joseph Pursley, 22 CF 2212. There's a waiver on file.
How's that spelled?
P-U-R-S-L-E-Y. Mr. Pursley is on for tomorrow. Just asked to pass this case to tomorrow.
State in agreement?
No objection.
Granted.
Thank you, Your Honor. That's all I have.
Thank you.
Good morning, Your Honor. Marty Nopes on behalf of Chad Blada, B-L-A-D-Y. There's a waiver on file.
Thank you.
Judge, I was just going to continue it. I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry.
Is your client present?
I've got a waiver on file, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you.
I just asked to continue it. They've changed
Do you have any
prosecutors on the
objections?
case.
This one's likely getting a bit.
Do you think we can resolve it on Monday, March 6th?
We can try.
Yeah?
How reasonable are you going to be?
Case is coming up on a year
I
old. It needs to
will.
get resolved soon.
Your Honor, could we set it for March 6th, please?
Certainly. And notify your client, Mr. Nopes.
I will.
Have him present, please.
I will, Your Honor. Next case I've got, Your Honor, is Mindy Collins, 22 CF 2706. Judge, I need to set depositions in that case. I've been tied up the last few months with some divorce cases, but those are resolving themselves, hopefully the last one today, so I'd like to continue
No
it.
objection, Your Honor.
All right. There's a waiver.
Yes, sir.
Granted. So is that to April 24?
I guess so, April 24.
Next pretrial, yes, sir.
The next case is Mr. Andre Copeland. He's present, Your Honor. Judge, I'm waiting on a report from Dr. Harper. I will reach out to her, and if I could put it on for the 24th of April, I'll try to get the report from her, and we can go from there, Your Honor.
Do you have any objection?
No objection.
And this one is a year and a half old or more. It needs to.
Understand, Judge.
Needs to get closed here pretty soon.
Yes, sir.
Stay in touch with the attorney, sir. Do you have any objection putting this off once again? All right, so that's April 24 as you're asking for?
Yes, sir.
Granted.
Judge, I've got also Justin Diaz, D-I-A-Z, 21 CF 2951. Judge, I was appointed to him a couple of months ago, and I didn't realize until today. I've been looking for him, and he's actually in Walton County for some reason, so I need to continue it so I can go to Walton
Custody
County.
in Walton County?
Yes, sir.
State in agreement?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. You can arrange transport or Zoom proceedings or something for the next, you want to do something on, see if we can set up a Zoom hearing for Monday? Doing the other matter? Or?
I don't know if I don't know I don't know what Walton County has, Judge, as far as if they've got the ability to have Zoom. He's got a merger. Okay. If the state and I can approach, Judge, I just learned something I wasn't aware of.
It'll be continued until April 24. Try to set up Zoom proceedings involving this defendant since he's got serious charges in Walton County. Next
Judge,
case, please.
the next case I have is Willie Durham, DURM, 22 CF 1283. Judge, Mr. Durham's present. I'd asked us to set it for the docket day, which is 3/6, so I can speak with the state.
No objection, Your Honor.
Mr. Durham, if you'll stay in touch with your attorney, sir, we're going to have another court date next Monday at 9 o'clock.
I want you to be here next Monday.
March
okay?
6th.
Okay. All right.
And that's on both cases? There are two on the docket?
I only see one, Your Honor. There is another Mr. Durham,
Oh, that's right.
Yes.
So this was on Sebastian Durham?
No, this is Willie.
Willie Franklin, 22 CF
Well,
1283.
there are three different Durhams on the docket, so
Yes,
this
sir.
is Willie Franklin. Okay, thank you. Okay,
Judge, the next case I have is Dylan Grantham, 23 CF 34. There's a waiver on file. It's my understanding that the victim does not want to prosecute this case, but I'm not sure if the state is aware of that.
and there's a waiver?
There is a waiver, Judge.
So it's a new case, so be reset for April 24, unless the state wishes to
Your
proceed.
Honor, can we set it for March 6th? And if I can reach out to the victim in this
May
week?
affect how you choose to proceed.
Right, yes, Your Honor.
Any objection?
That's fine, Judge.
March 6th.
I'm sorry?
It's a bond hearing tomorrow, apparently.
Oh, that's right. We did a motion to modify the
You could
bond.
talk with her before tomorrow?
We'll just leave it on for tomorrow.
Let's leave it for tomorrow, Your Honor.
Okay, so if you need to schedule additional proceedings, do so after tomorrow, or schedule that from tomorrow.
Judge, I then have Benjamin Hoffman. He's present, Your Honor. It's my understanding that the state had offered his wife, which is the co-defendant, a PTI, and I'm not certain if they're willing to consider a PTI on Mr. Hoffman's case. If not, then I need to continue it to the 24th of April so I can set depositions and go forward with discovery.
Judge, we'd ask that this be the last continuance, because we'd asked to get depots in the books last time. PTI is not on the table, given his criminal history. The withhold probation offer is what stands.
All right. So, Ms. Nopes, you're coming up on a year, so we need to get the matter ready for trial, if it can't be resolved otherwise.
Judge, I've not been on this case for a year, so
How long have you been on the case?
Judge, I'm going to say I've probably been on the case for 3 months, 3.5 months, so,
Get it moving.
Yes, sir.
Still coming up on a year that the client's been in the court system, so.
yes, sir.
You have any objection, Mr. Hoffman?
Sir.
All right, motion granted.
See me? Yep. Judge, I have Aaron Jefferson, who's present, 22 CF 853. Judge, I believe it was last week that we had depositions. There were some things that I learned in the depot. I need to file a motion.
All right.
Aaron Jefferson, yeah.
How long do you think it'll take to get your motion filed?
Judge, it'll probably be, based on my schedule this week, it'll be sometime next week before I can get the motion filed.
Scheduled for a hearing before the next,
I think I can. I should be able to.
State have any objection?
No, Your Honor.
This is another case that's coming up on a year fairly soon, so.
Yes,
Stay in
sir.
touch with the attorney, sir. Next court date is April 24th.
Is that an appointment? All right. Judge, I have Mr. Martin. He's an inmate. Judge, he's a co-defendant with another gentleman, and his name is escaping me, but there's depots scheduled. I think it's the last week of March or the second week of April, so I'd ask to continue this.
This is Jalen Martin.
Jalen Martin? Yes, sir.
I have 4 cases on the docket.
Yes, sir.
Do you have any objection?
No objection.
Martin, do you have any objection? Granted.
I'll let you know after the day. Judge, I then have Shailene Matthews. Judge, Dr. Harper is in the midst of doing a report above and beyond a mitigation report on Ms. Matthews' case. I've still not gotten it yet. I'd ask to continue it, and then I will make sure that we reach out to Dr. Harper and find out where we're at on her report, okay?
Judge Christine Boss on behalf of the state. Your Honor, this eval was ordered in June of last year. We need to get this case done. So we would object to continue it. If we can set it maybe for docket day so we can see where we are, but that's just absurd.
Docket day's fine, Judge, and I'll see where we're at on the report.
Well, if that doctor's not being cooperative, we need to consider requesting a substitution of appointed
I understand, Judge.
evaluator.
I understand.
Get this matter moving.
Yes, sir.
Matthews, do you have any objection? Indicating no. Motion granted, so it'll be April 24. Get it moving.
Yes, sir. Happy to see you this weekend. Ryan Miller, Your Honor, 22 CF 1293. I had not received discovery. However, I reached out to the state, one of the secretaries and legal assistants, and they emailed me stuff last week. So I just got to download it and print it. But at this point,
Do you have any objection?
we just put it on the 24th of April.
No objection.
You're Ryan Miller?
Yes, sir.
Do you have any objection, sir?
No, sir.
Stay in touch with your attorney. April 24 is your next court date.
Appreciate you.
I've got Tyshawn Morris. Morris is present. Judge, if we could just put it on docket day.
That March 6th date?
Yes, sir.
Date in agreement?
Yes, Your Honor.
Sir, next Monday, 9 o'clock.
Sir.
March 6th. 3 cases, is that right? Or 2 cases?
I'm sorry, Judge.
Ms. Morris had,
I've only got one case, Judge.
I have, this is Morris, is that right, Tyshawn? I've got 22-1436 and 22-3054. I have a different attorney on the second case.
I was appointed on the 22 CF 1436.
Yeah. Well, this is Mr. Morris still here?
Tyshawn?
Ms. Morris? Ivan, okay, I'm sorry. Close names, different person.
Gotcha, okay.
Okay, so Mr. Morris, I apologize, we were confusing you with another individual, or I was. My apologies.
Yeah, there's another case, somebody with a similar spelling, so it was confusion for the judge, so we're good. Okay. Okay, see you Monday.
Okay, sir.
Monday. Judge, then I've got Jared Riley, 22 CF 1746. I've not gotten any written discovery. I've gotten a lot of video and images. I double-checked this morning to see what I had. I'm not, and again, I'm not saying they didn't send it to me, but sometimes things get missed or overlooked and not put in the right file. But I just need the written documents of the discovery to explain the story.
Your Honor, this discovery's been sent twice, as recently as 124. Additionally, Your Honor, we do not see an order allowing the CPT or DCF to be released to Mr. Nope, so until he files that motion and that order is signed, we cannot release those particular records, because that's required. And believe that was shared with Mr. Nopes' office at least, by one of my assistants. I believe it was Ms. Donaldson.
You aware, Mr. Nopes?
Judge, I wasn't aware of that. Now, they may have talked with my office, but which assistant, your assistant, Ms.
I'm sorry?
Bosso, would have sent it?
Actually, it would have been, so it's a victim case, it would have been Miss Barber or Miss, however Milani said their last name. I'm sorry. Donovich.
I can try to find that in.
Just let us know. If you don't have it, we'll send it again, but it's been done.
So we need to reset this for April 24. This case is about 9 months old, so.
I understand, Your Honor.
Stay in touch with the attorney, sir. April 24 is your next court date.
Get the discovery and get you in, okay.
Next case.
Judge, then I got Brandon Scarborough, if I could leave it set for March 6th. I've got to meet with him and decide what our next move is.
2 cases on this docket.
It's on my list, Judge, Brandon Scarborough.
There's 2 of them, Your Honor. Mr. Scarborough.
So Monday, March 6th, stay in touch with your attorney, sir.
Sir.
I got 2 left, Judge. William Talbot. The state has extended an offer. We're not going to be able to resolve it with the offer they're making, so we need to continue it so that I can do discovery depositions.
Is there a VOP tagging along here? Got one.
Looks that way, Judge.
Is the VOP?
Yeah, and you're
No, this is
handling
both of them.
matters. State have any objection to the continuing the main matter?
Oh, Talbot, no objection, Your Honor.
And Mr. Talbot, do you have any objection?
I need to take depositions. Remember?
I wasn't even in I was in jail.
I understand. So, Judge, he's asking you, are you okay to continue it so I can set depots?
Yes, sir.
Acceptable to you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Motion granted.
I'll come this
You'll be in
weekend.
touch.
Come talk to me, please.
I will. And then the last case I have, Judge, is Joseph Tolles, 22 CF 1774, and we're asking to continue to set depots.
No objection.
Opposed, do you have any objection to that? Stay in touch with the attorney, sir, April 24.
That's all I've got, Your Honor. Have a great day.
Your Honor, if I may step in, I have a client who is sick, and I would like to send them home.
Case, please.
It's Michael Patterson, 22 CF 2146. Your Honor, we're going to continue this case for now. He is going to come meet with me. I need to have a little bit further discussion with the state on some possible credit.
Mr. Patterson, do you have any objection?
No, sir.
Stay in touch with your attorney, sir, April 24, 9 o'clock.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Who is next?
Risa Belton on behalf of David Cornell, 21 CL 376 and 22 CL 2224. There's a waiver on file.
Last name of your client again, please.
Cornell,
Cornell, thank you.
C-O-R, Your Honor.
Waivers on both cases?
Yes, sir.
State have any objection?
No, Your Honor.
And there's, I assume, a VOP plus a new case.
Yes, sir.
Motion granted, April 24.
The next case you have, Your Honor, is John Elmore, 22 CL 2580. We're still waiting on some discovery. We'll ask for continuance as well.
No objection, Your Honor.
And there's a waiver on file.
Thank you. Motion granted, April 24.
The next one I have is Connor Prince. He is an inmate.
Prince is the
Yes.
last name?
He has 4 cases, Your Honor.
I only have 2 on this doc. Well, no, there are 4. Excuse me.
Your Honor, if we can ask for a one-cycle continuance on him?
No objection.
You have any objection, Mr. Prince?
No, sir.
Some VOPs here plus the new cases?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Motion granted, April 24. Your attorney will be in touch, sir.
And our next one I have is Deion Sanders. And he's an inmate, Your Honor. He's also represented by Regional Conflict Counsel on several cases as well.
I have 5 cases on the docket here.
Yes, sir.
Here they have regional counsel on one case, 21-1943.
I'm on one case, Your Honor, and then the Regional
Oh,
Counsel
sorry,
has
the
the
other
other
way
cases.
around.
Yes, sir.
Okay, got it.
You know, we're still going through depositions and discovery in this case. We'll ask for continuance.
There's no objection, Your Honor, from the state. These are Ms. Sandler's cases, and she has no objection. The depots are set.
Your Honor, I'm also asking for a deposition, or for a continuation. We've done our depositions, but I'm working on the motion, drafting a motion that I need to review with my client. So
You're Ms. Flowers?
yes, I'm with Regional Conflict Counsel.
And, sir, do you have any objection to these requests? Your attorneys will be in touch with you, and I'm sure they're going to be talking together a little bit to try to make sure everybody's on the same page about what to recommend. Thank you, sir. April 24.
And the last case I have is Krista Spears. There's a waiver on file. We could leave her set for Thursday at 9 o'clock, March 2nd.
No objection, Your Honor. We are anticipating a resolution at that time.
Say there are waivers in each case?
Yes, sir.
Looks like there are about, what, 5 or 6 here?
5, I believe.
Without objection, granted.
Your Honor, that's all I have.
Ms. Dudley.
Thank you. Do it. Okay. On Chase Glover, Your Honor, we are setting depots. We have been in contact with the state. We'd ask for a 1-cycle continuance.
That's Richard Glover.
Chase. There's a waiver on file.
Sorry, Chase Glover. There we go. Okay, is Chase Glover present?
There's a waiver on file, Your Honor.
Waiver? Okay. Any objection? Chase Glover.
No objection.
This one's getting a little bit older too, Counsel.
Yes, sir. We're waiting on the FDLE report. We do have that. Now we're setting depots.
All right, thank you. Motion granted. Next case.
Earl McKay. Your Honor, there's a waiver on file for him as well. We are waiting on some information from the state. We'll ask for continuance.
No objection.
What's the last name spelled?
MCKAY.
Missing it here on this document. M-C-K-A-Y, you said?
Yes, sir.
There it is. Earl McKay?
Yes, sir.
Got it. All right.
Madam Clerk, that's all I have, I believe.
Without objection, motion granted.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. All right, is Mr. Hardy here? So I took care of him. How about Ms. Gooden? All right.
One case, Your Honor.
Sorry. Yes, ma'am, thank you.
Tony Allen, Your Honor, he's in custody. I believe it's number 2 on the docket, 2021 CF 1988.
Client's name is Allen,
Allen,
and last, the first name?
Tony.
There we go.
Your Honor, we'll be asking that the case be passed. It's set for motions on the March 9th, so we can just pass the matter to hear our motions. We'll be able
Is
to
this a substantive charge or a VOP?
substantive.
It's getting a little long in the tooth. It needs to
I
be
understand. We have our motions set for the March 9th, so they're dispositive.
State in agreement?
We're in agreement.
All right. So you're going to have a court hearing on March 9th on a motion? Is that a dispositive motion?
Yes, Your Honor.
It might take care of your case, might not, but hopefully it'll get moving to trial one way or the other if you can't resolve it.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, counsel.
Morning, Your Honor.
Just for everybody else, I've had the list up here, so I don't know who's come in since we started. So, Ms. Gooden, go ahead.
I have Courtney Howard, Howard, 22 CF 2983.
I'm asking for a continuance to April 24th. The month of March, I'm in Ireland.
Is your counsel, or your client present?
No, there's a waiver on file.
Do you have any objection?
Well, I was under the impression that we had a plea agreement. We were working on one.
I didn't receive your signed copy back, so we can resolve it, but.
Can we resolve it on Monday, the 6th?
No, I fly out the 5th. I can try and resolve it with signed agreements, but.
Would it be possible to set the case with VOPs tomorrow at a time certain, later in the day?
Is it?
No, Your Honor, I'm in another court.
How about Thursday? We have court, I believe.
I don't know.
Yes, Your Honor, we do. We could set it for Thursday.
I'm in Santa Rosa on Thursday. It'll be a written plea to a misdemeanor with fingerprints.
Can't we file it?
I can if we both sign it and get her to sign it.
That's fine, Your Honor.
Just try to work together, if not, just for control date.
But as a control
Set for
date.
April 24.
Thank
As
you.
a
Thank
control
you.
date to be canceled if a written plea in absentia is timely filed.
Thank you, Your Honor. The next one I have is Jeremy Kozer, 21 CF 2033.
K or a C?
Koiser. And I understand it's older. We were ready for trial, then we got a new state attorney. We were negotiating, but we're not able to. But I am not here this trial cycle, so I'm asking April 24th. And it will be tried.
As a waiver of appearance?
There's a waiver of appearance for all my clients, Your Honor.
If the record, Your Honor, can reflect that this would be the last continuance.
That's what counsel's indicating. So
That's what I
ready for
said.
trial. Motion granted.
The last one that I know I have on the docket is Viva Pal,
Is that with a
PAL, 21 CF 1979, sorry. Again, we are going to have to try this case, but I'm not here this trial cycle.
How is her last name spelled?
PAL. The first name is VAIBHAV, but the last name is PAL.
E-A-L, okay. I misheard you.
And I'm asking for April 24th, and we will try it that cycle.
Do you have any objection?
Your Honor, the state is ready this time, but we understand Ms. Gooden's constraints. We have no objection to going the next cycle as a date certain.
Motion granted.
On Benjamin McNutt, MCNUTT, 21 CF 2956, I know that the state and I and my client signed a misdemeanor plea in absentia, and I e-filed it, so I'm not sure why he's still on the docket.
That is the state's understanding as well.
And there was an order that was e-filed as well. At least a month ago. And the order or I'll make sure it's done today.
The last docket entry was December 28. I'm looking at the right case. Benjamin McNutt.
Correct. McNutt is 21 CF 2956.
There's been nothing filed since December 28.
Then I will make sure it's done today.
April 24, subject to cancellation, should you get everything filed and resolved.
Thank you, Your Honor. And that's all I have, unless Madam Clerk tells me otherwise. Thank you, Your Honor. Nice seeing you.
Mutual. All right, counsel, who's next?
Morning, Your Honor. For the record, Jeremy Creech, Keich.
All right, call case, please.
First case will be State of Florida versus Mark Dandridge, Dandridge, 22 CF 2250. Mark is coming before the court as we speak.
D-A-N?
D as in dog, Andridge. and have a written offer of plea to a lesser included offense, which is a misdemeanor.
All right, thank you. Good morning. All right, sir, if you'll raise your right hand to be sworn. Do you swear affirm the testimony you give will be the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
All right, and please state your name.
Mark Allen Dandridge, sir.
Mr. Dandridge, I understand you're pleading no contest to a lesser included offense of resisting an officer without violence. Is that
Yes,
your
sir.
understanding?
Sir.
And I have your written plea agreement here, and is this your signature on that agreement?
Yes, it is, sir.
Did you read all this document before you signed it?
Yes, sir.
Any questions about anything in it?
No, sir, I'm satisfied, sir.
Understand everything in it?
Yes, sir.
Understand you're giving up your right to a jury trial, all trial rights, and the right to appeal guilt, but keep the right to appeal fundamental issues or issues on sentencing errors.
Yes, sir.
Have you had enough time to talk to your attorney about your decision?
Yes, sir.
Satisfied with his advice?
Yes, sir.
And anyone promise you anything other than what is in this agreement to get you to plead?
No, sir.
Have you been threatened or made to plead when you don't want to?
No, sir.
Had any medicine, drugs, or alcohol in the last 24 hours?
No.
Been committed to a mental health facility?
No.
All right. What happened here about resisting an officer without violence?
My
You
mom
get
was
stopped for some reason?
No, I was actually in my house. My mom got pulled over out there on the outskirts of my property outside my gate, and I went up and I just asked an officer if he can be a little easier on my mom. He was kind of jerking her around, and
So
anyhow,
what did you do besides make that request?
nothing, try to get a badge number. Other than
You got a
that, I
badge
stayed in
name?
my yard behind a gate. And
Did you step in between him and your mother or do anything to interfere with his activities?
Nope.
Sir, if that's the case, and all you did was ask courteous questions, you may have a complete defense in this case.
I understand that, sir.
Understand that? And you're giving up that defense for all time by entering your plea. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
You think that's best?
Yes, sir.
Find your plea to be freely, voluntarily, knowingly, and intelligently made. There's a sufficient factual basis to support your plea. Any possible defense is voluntarily waived. At this time, you'll be adjudicated guilty. You'll be required to pay $470 in court costs and within 45 days. And do you think you can get that done?
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, I'm sorry, I believe the court costs are $270 because he's pleading to a misdemeanor.
It's a breakdown.
This is a combination of breakdown of court costs, including costs of prosecution. And was it you retained or appointed, counsel?
Appointed, Your Honor.
All right. So, sir, thank you. Do want to let you know you're entitled to a hearing about reasonable attorney fees. And here, counsel, I think the fee would be $100 since he's pleading to a misdemeanor for legal fees for an application and a misdemeanor.
No objection to
Agree, state?
No objection, Your Honor.
All right. So, sir, regardless of that amount, whether it's 100 or 150,
Yes, sir.
for the application fee and the attorney fee, you understand you're entitled to a hearing about reasonable fees. And you're giving that up by agreeing to this amount.
Yes, sir.
You think you can pay it?
Yes, sir. I know I
Think
can.
This is the way to do it.
Yes, sir.
All right. I'll find you freely, voluntarily, knowingly, and intelligently waived your right to a reasonable attorney fee hearing as well. You're advised of your right to appeal within 30 days. You have the right to an attorney. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed. There is no probation on that. All right. That's our next case.
Next case would be State of Florida versus Sebastian Durham, D-U-R-M. Mr. Durham is coming before the court. He is co-defendant with Willie Durham, who was previously on the docket. I believe the court continued Mr. Durham's case, the co-defendant's case. I'd like to do the same so we can coordinate depositions if necessary.
No objection.
And so you're Sebastian Durham? Sir. You have any objection to a continuance? This one's getting about 9 months old. We can try to get it resolved, counsel. Motion granted.
All right, thank you.
Stay in touch with the attorney, sir.
And what was that date, just for Mr. Durham's edification?
The 24?
And that-
24, 9 o'clock.
Next case would be an inmate, Your Honor, State of Florida versus Philip Lee, L-E-E.
Including the community service?
Judge, in Mr. Lee's case, I was just recently appointed after Marty Nopes filed a motion to withdraw. I spoke with Mr. Nopes about collecting all of the discovery from his office today. That's my intent. I'd ask for a continuance so I can receive the discovery and go over the facts of the case with Mr. Lee at the Okaloosa County Jail.
Without objection, Your Honor. Mr. Keech, if you would double check also, I believe we sent you an evidence.com link. If there's any issues with that, then let us know that too.
Yes.
And so, Mr. Lee, do you understand your attorney needs some time to get up to speed on your case?
Yes,
Do you have
sir.
any objection to another delay?
No, no, sir.
Motion granted. April 24.
Next would be State of Florida versus Donovan Smith. Mr. Smith is present. And Judge, I spoke with the state some this morning on this case. We've been going back and forth. If we could leave him set soft on the March 6th morning docket, maybe we can bring this one in for a landing at that time.
No objection.
Is that all right with you, sir? Next Monday, to try to see if you can settle the case? Your attorney will talk to you in the meantime. March 6th, 9 o'clock.
Next would be State of Florida versus Grady Sutton, S-U-T-T-O-N. He has 3 cases on your docket, and he's present coming before the court.
I have 4 cases.
Excuse me, 4, yes. And, Your Honor, Mr. Sutton was a co-defendant with Mr. Jalen Martin, who came before the court earlier. My office coordinated depots with the parties, I believe they're on March 27th. If we could move these cases to the April pretrial.
No objection.
And, Mr. Sutton, is that acceptable to you? April 24, stay in touch with your attorney, sir.
And I believe finally, Your Honor, would be State of Florida versus James Terrell. He is an inmate, and he will need that hearing device, I believe. Okay. Judge, can you hear okay?
Yes.
Okay. He has 2 cases on the docket. Judge, we're ready to set these cases for trial. If we could leave him set for docket day with the intent that the case would be tried the first week, or that following week.
Which case would you intend to try first?
Your Honor, our preference would be case number 210924.
You're ready on that case?
Yes, sir.
Skeech?
Yes, sir.
We'll set both cases for March 6th with the expectation that 924 will be set for trial accordingly.
Okay.
Ma'am, I sent you an offer. That wasn't no good.
Sorry, you're represented by counsel, sir. I can't talk to you directly.
Need to provide a copy of that to your attorney, sir, and
Okay, I sent it to you with saying that I didn't,
Don't, remember, anything you say is recorded. Okay. Remember, anything you say in here is being recorded.
well, I sent her an offer with saying that I was doing this without my attorney when I sent it to you. You didn't get that offer in the mail?
Sir, I cannot do anything as long as you're represented.
there's a process to go through. You've got appointed counsel here. He indicates that you're about ready to go to trial to hopefully get the cases resolved.
I don't understand, sir. Other people, they get offers and then they...
If you'll communicate the offer you have extended to the state, he cannot advocate on your behalf about that. The state attorney cannot communicate with you directly when you have an attorney helping you. So there's a procedural problem here. But let your attorney know what the offer is, and can he go back and Nick, can they talk for a second in the back?
I'll meet him in the attorney-client room.
So he'll talk to you right now, and hopefully you can convey that offer and he can advocate for you, sir. You'll be back in court Monday morning. Maybe the state will accept it after he's had a chance to talk.
Monday morning?
Monday morning, March 6th, 9 o'clock. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Okay.
So when
I'll meet
do
you.
I-
I'm going to see you right now. Okay, just go back there and bring you to the room. Judge, I believe that's all I have. Maybe excuse it.
Sir, thank you. So hold Mr. Sutton there to talk to Mr. Keech. Who's next?
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning.
May it please the court, Your Honor, Brad Stewart present.
My first client, Your Honor, is Mr. Matthew Bachman, Judge. This is 21 CF 2261.
How's the last name spelled?
Bachman, B-A-C-H. We have a waiver of appearance on file, Judge. We do need to continue this matter.
Do you have any objection? No objection. Motion granted, April 24. This one's getting substantially older. It's a year and a half old. It needs to get resolved, counsel.
Yes, Your Honor. Judge, my next client is Madison Beatty. We do, I believe Ms. Beatty is here present before the court, Judge. We do have...
Cases on the docket.
I'm sorry?
I see two
Yes, Your
cases
Honor.
on the docket.
There are two cases on the docket, Judge, 22 CF 1920 and 1921. Ms. Beatty is present and approaching, Judge. We have depositions set in April. We do need to continue this matter.
There's no objection, Your Honor. It's Ms. Sandler's case, and the depositions are set.
Okay. Ms. B, have you been in touch with your attorney?
Sir?
Have you been in touch with your attorney?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you understand they're getting your case ready. There's a few technical things that need to be resolved, but the case will be reset for April 24.
Yes, sir.
Stay in touch with your attorney, please.
Thank you.
Your Honor, my next client is Mr. Michael Blasberg, B-L-A-S-B-E-R-G. Two cases on the docket, 20 CF 707, 22 CF 2239. Mr. Blasberg is present before the court, Judge. Good to go. Everything's the same. Your Honor, at this time, Mr. Blasberg is prepared to admit the violation of probation and tender a plea of no contest to the new law violation, 22 CF 2239. I do have a plea and sentencing agreement. Your Honor, may I approach?
I'll review them here with your client. I'm trying to find the affidavit for the VOP.
Which one did you continue earlier? Bachman. Oh, you are magical. What do I want to strike? These two? It's 49.
All right, sir, if you'll raise your right hand to be sworn. You swear affirm the testimony you give will be the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes, sir.
State your name, sir.
Michael Blasberg.
Mr. Blasberg, I have a written plea agreement here, and is this your signature on that agreement?
Yes, sir.
Did you read all this document before you signed it?
Yes, sir.
Do you have any questions about anything in it? Do you understand everything in it?
Yes, sir.
You understand that by entering their plea, you're giving up your right to a violation hearing on the 2020 case, and you're giving up your right to a trial on, check here, on your 2022 case.
Yes, sir.
And that's a jury trial. There's a, and did you read all this document before you signed it?
Yes, sir.
So do you understand that all the rights between these two proceedings are the same with two exceptions? On the violation probation proceeding, you have the right to a hearing about whether you violated your probation. On the other case, you have the right to a jury trial. On the VOP, the burden of proof is proof of guilt by only the greater weight of the evidence. That's a very low burden of proof. While on the new case, the burden is beyond every reasonable doubt. That's the highest amount of proof it takes to prove any fact in the court system. Otherwise, all your rights are the same. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
And there is one other slight addition. You do not have the right to remain silent regarding technical violations of probation, but you do have the right to stay silent regarding any criminal law matters. Okay? Everything else is the same. Do you have any questions about any of those rights?
No, sir.
Do you understand all of them?
Yes, sir.
You understand you give them all up if I accept this plea agreement?
Yes, sir.
So you're giving up the right to a hearing, a right to a trial, all of your hearing or trial rights, and the right to appeal guilt of those matters. but you keep the right to appeal fundamental issues or issues on sentencing errors. And have you had enough time to talk to your attorney about your decision?
Yes, sir.
Are you satisfied with his advice?
Yes, sir.
And has anyone promised you anything other than what is in this agreement to get you to plead?
No, sir.
Have you been threatened, forced, or made to plead when you don't want to?
No, sir.
Have you had any medicine, drugs, or alcohol in the last 24 hours?
No, sir.
Have you ever been committed to a mental health facility? And do we have a score sheet?
We do, Your Honor. May I approach? The score sheet reads 49 total points. This is a downward departure agreed upon, non-coerced plea bargain.
That is correct, Your Honor.
So, sir, the state's giving you a break here. Your recommended sentence was a prison sentence of about 16 months in prison, but they're offering these other alternatives for you. Do you understand that distinction?
Yes, sir.
And will there be any more supervision at this time?
No, Your Honor.
All right. So the case will be taken care of. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
All right. So tell me what happened here about these new law violations. Those are the charges of selling some controlled substances, 2 counts, and driving with your license suspended.
The new law violation happened back in March. I was riding in a vehicle that had marijuana inside the vehicle.
Was it your vehicle?
No, sir. The vehicle wasn't in my name, but I was behind the driver wheel when I was arrested for other.
Why were you stopped?
I had burglary warrants, and I guess that the officers were already looking for me.
Think they recognized you?
Yes, sir. I believe so.
Okay. And you knew that you had warrants outstanding?
Yes, sir. I knew I had burglary warrants.
All right. So tell me about the search of the car.
They pulled me out of the car, I thought, just for the warrants. I was standing by the vehicle thinking I was going to jail, and they searched the car without my permission, but they searched the car when I was standing there. I came to jail and didn't get charged with anything when I came to jail. It was 6 months later that I got charged with this.
The judge will stipulate to a factual basis.
All right. Well, under the circumstances, sir, do you understand that, were these your drugs?
No, sir.
Did you know they were there?
No, sir.
And was your license canceled or suspended at the time?
My license was suspended, sir.
And you knew that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you may have a legal issue about the search and seizure. You may have an issue of full defense if you didn't know that the drugs were in the car and you never exercised any actual or constructive possession of them. But you're giving up those issues by accepting this plea agreement. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
And do you think that's best?
Yes, sir.
All right. This time I'll find your plea to these matters to be freely, voluntarily, knowingly, and intelligently made. There is a sufficient factual basis to support each plea. Any possible legal issues or defenses are voluntarily waived. This time I'll find you guilty of violating your probation. Your probation will be revoked. You'll be adjudicated guilty. You'll be required to pay $1,565.51 in restitution. That needs to be paid to the clerk within 7 days. There will also be a $150 violation probation fee. And those matters, okay, we have a little contradiction here. Is everything supposed to be a lien or not?
If he didn't, I don't believe so. There was a restitution we agreed
Because all
upon.
outstanding financials shall be assessed as a civil lien. That's
All
the-
other outstanding financials, Judge, with the exception of the restitution, which will be paid within 7 days to the clerk.
It doesn't say all other, it says all outstanding. I just want to be clear.
Yes, Your Honor.
So it is anticipated that but for the court costs, everything else will be paid?
That's correct, the restitution.
Yes, Your Honor, that's the understanding.
Okay. And you have the ability to do that, sir?
Yes, sir. I already sent a check.
I have that in trust, Judge. We have a trust check prepared for the clerk.
All right. And apparently, sir, as I understand it, and it wasn't clear until I got to the second page, that the plea as to the new charge, new law violation, is only as to count 1.
That's correct.
The state's intent is to dismiss counts 2 and 3.
That is correct, Your Honor.
So the second drug charge and the resisting or driving with license suspended charge will be dismissed. So at this time, as to count 1 of that case, you'll be adjudicated guilty with sentence to 247 days in the Okaloosa County Jail with credit for time served beginning September 11, 2022. You pay $615 in court costs. All financials are assessed as a lien, and as well as the costs from the VOP case. And are you appointed or retained counsel?
Retain, Your Honor.
So, sir, you're advised of your right to appeal within 30 days. You have the right to an attorney. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed.
Your Honor, my next client is Mr. Dean Cook. This is 22 CF 803. Hey, Dean. Come on up here.
I'm all right.
Your Honor, Brad Stewart on behalf of Mr. Cook, Judge, again, 22 CF 803. Mr. Cook is present before the court. Your Honor, Mr. Cook was previously determined to be incompetent to stand trial, as well as non-restorable. The state has stipulated to same. In conjunction with that, I do have an order judging him incompetent to proceed and placing him on a conditional release plan for the court's review and signature, Judge. Would the court prefer that I submit this through the portal? I do have a hard copy.
Sign the hard copy today. Can we get that later?
Very good. May I approach, Your Honor?
Yes, sir. State's in agreement?
Yes, Your Honor.
And Judge, just for the record, the order does contemplate placing Mr. Cook on a conditional release plan under the care of Mr. John Barnes, who is the mental health coordinator here, as well as contemplates placing Mr. Cook in a group home in Pensacola that will be overseen by the department.
Mr. Barnes present?
I don't believe Mr. Barnes is here today, Judge.
So what's the contemplation?
He was here earlier, Judge. I don't believe he's here currently.
Mr. Cook, you're going to be going to a place to live. You need to follow the rules there.
Yes, sir.
What they ask you to do, that includes taking your medicine
Yes,
as they
sir.
prescribe it. You understand that?
Yeah, I understand that, Your Honor.
Stay out of trouble.
Yes, sir. Am I being released?
Well, they'll take you to this place where you're going to have to stay, okay?
Okay. I'm being released.
We're going to do the group home. Okay.
Am I temporarily staying at my mother's house?
Mr. Barnes. Mr. Barnes is going to tell you that.
Hey,
Yeah.
today?
I don't know if it's going to be today, but it'll be real soon. Okay?
How
If it's
soon?
not today, maybe tomorrow.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
All right. Okay, Dean, we'll see you.
Is there any required review in this matter?
Yes, Judge, I believe it requires review every 6 months.
Is that included in your proposed order?
It is, Your Honor.
Making a quick scan of it. And it does say,
I'm not mistaken, I
supposed
think
to be an
it's...
evaluation every 6 months?
Yes. Yes, Your Honor.
It does not schedule a review hearing, however. I think it's appropriate, just so we don't lose track, that we schedule a hearing shortly after the 6 months expiration date, so
Very good.
it'll be after, sometime after August 23. At what time?
I'm sorry, Your Honor, I didn't hear the date.
August 31.
31, did you say, at
Thank you.
9 o'clock?
9 a.m. Very good.
And the reports are going to need to be filed at least 1 week prior to that.
And just to be clear, Judge, the court is adding that into the order?
And writing it into the order.
Very good. Thank you.
please.
Yes, Your Honor. My next client is Mr. Thomas Haney, Judge, 22 CF 2756. We have a waiver on file. Judge, this is, I believe it's the first time up on this matter. We do need to continue it. I anticipate setting depositions.
State agree?
No objection, Your Honor.
All right, motion granted, April 24.
Your Honor, my next client is Mr. Jordan Harris. This is 22 CF 2431, Judge. We do have some outstanding discovery and depositions in need of setting. We need to continue this.
Harrison custody.
No objection.
No, I'm sorry, Judge. We have a waiver on file.
Without objection, April 24.
Your Honor, my next client is Mr. John Harvard. This is 22 CF 1810. Mr. Harvard is in custody and present. The state has provided us with an amended offer. I do need to review this issue with my client. If we could leave it on for Monday, please.
Yes, Your
They made
Honor.
an offer. Your attorney will talk to you between now and Monday. You'll be back in court Monday morning. Hopefully you can get the case resolved.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
March 6, 9 o'clock.
March 6.
March 6th on Monday, next Monday.
So we're done.
Maybe.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Your Honor, my next client is Mr. Samuel Height. This is 22 CF 241. Mr. Height has a waiver of appearance on file, Judge. We are awaiting the finalization of our expert analysis and anticipate setting at least 3 depositions in that matter. We do need continued.
Objection.
Without objection, April 24.
Thank you, Your Honor. My next client is Ms. Jordan Kelly Vest, Judge. This is 22 CF 1837. We are close with regards to our negotiations. However, we think a full continuance is appropriate in the matter, Judge. We will advance, I believe, the case once we get it resolved.
You don't think we can set it for
You want to set it for Duck Day? Sure. Sounds good.
March 6.
March 6th, Your Honor, right? Yes, thank you.
Okay. Your Honor, I have...
Notify your client to be present.
Yes, sir. Judge, I have my next client is Mr. Mike Mandel. Mr. Mandel is in custody. There are 3 cases before the court, 22 CF 1320, 1549, and 2038, Judge. Likewise, if we could leave this set for March the 6th for plea or continue.
No objection.
And there's an offer outstanding you need to talk to your client about.
Judge, we're waiting on finalization of evaluation for inpatient treatment. I am hopefully anticipating that will be finalized by next Monday.
Yes, sir. Hopefully they can make a decision and move things forward one way or the other. We'll be back in court Monday morning, March 6th.
I'll see you.
Thank you.
Your Honor, my next client is Mr. Mark Perez. This is 22 CF 1529. This is a companion case to Ms. Kelly Vest. If we could leave this on for docket day as well.
Without objection, Your Honor.
All right, and there's a waiver,
Yes, Your Honor, I apologize. The waiver on file.
March 6th.
Your Honor, my final client is Mr. Anthony Roca. This is 21 CF 3271. Likewise, if we could leave this on for docket day. We were awaiting some information. The state informed me that the location of that information, so I'm going to confirm that and we'll advance the case forward.
You'll be back in court Monday morning. Your attorney will have more information for you by that time, hopefully.
I'll be back in the morning.
Just, Your Honor, just to clarify, Mr. Stewart, is that for plea or trial?
That will be plea or continued, as there are some additional depositions pursuant to the information that you let me know where it was located.
Agreed?
Yeah.
I think it's about a year and a half old now, so hopefully we can get it resolved soon.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Judge, that's all I have before the court. May be excused.
All right.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Counsel.
I'll see you. Good morning, Your Honor.
After this gentleman, we're going to take a brief break.
On the first matter I have is State of Florida versus Jeremy Dixon in 2021 CF 2701. There is a waiver on file for Mr. Dixon, Your Honor. We had this matter set, and we're going to be asking for continuance because the discovery is still incomplete.
That's correct. No objection, Your Honor.
Is that correct?
Yes, yes, Your Honor.
State's in agreement?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. And so that'll be, is that April 24th?
April 24th, Your Honor.
Counsel, this case is getting pretty old. Need to try to get it resolved.
Yes, sir. I think we're going to make this case come to a rapid conclusion, Your Honor. All right. The next matter, we have 21 CF 1126, State of Florida versus Lawrence Wayne Dumas. He also has an accompanying case of 21 CF 00125. We're going to leave this matter set for the 6th.
Dumas are in custody?
Mr. Dumas is in custody in Santa Rosa County, Your Honor. I think we have a tentative agreement, but to that extent, I wasn't able to get over to him at the jail and go over with the terms. But I'm almost 100% positive that we'll be able to deposit this case either by Zoom or by written plea agreement.
How do you want to try to schedule that, counsel?
In any way that will work for the court and defense, Your Honor. I don't have any objections.
These cases are a couple of years old now, so I'm just wondering whether you could meet with him before Monday.
Here's the problem with this case, Your Honor. He has he has another case accompanying Walton County as well as Santa Rosa County. And those cases occurred before this one. So we're having to go back and forth with all those cases. And the case out of Walton County and this case are basically similar.
I mean, maybe the state's attorney's office can work out an arrangement for all the cases.
I cannot speak to the other counties, Your Honor. I can only talk about my cases.
I understand, but you can talk to your other assistants in those counties and see if you can come up with a joint agreement for it and resolve
Absolutely.
the cases.
Yes, yes. It didn't seem as if they were close to a resolution. That's why I didn't even reach out yet. I know about my case, we can resolve it.
Correct.
Yeah.
All right, so how do you think it should be reset? What date?
If we could set it, Your Honor, for March 6th, and then I'll communicate with Mr. Tony as to how to arrange with Zoom, maybe.
Here's the problem, Your Honor. You know the transportation is probably going to be an issue. Getting him.
Talking about Zoom.
Zoom. So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, if we could do a plea of abstention, I mean,
Do that
on that felony,
felonies,
correct.
but only on misdemeanors.
Yeah.
So it'd either be Zoom or in person, and if you need it in person, you need
Then
to
I'd
get a transport
transfer.
order to get
Yes,
it
sir.
there. So we'll try to set it up. Hopefully, you can meet with your client in person or by Zoom before March 6th and see if we can get it resolved.
Okay.
Thank you.
And the next case I have, Your Honor, is 2022 CF 2275, State of Florida versus Raphael Howard Dortch. This particular case, Your Honor,
What's his last name?
Holiday Dortch, D-O-R-T-C-H. This is a new case, Your Honor. I think we're going to be able to resolve it. I would like to leave this case set for the 6th. I think I have some information that once given to the state, it may be dispositive.
I don't have any objection to leave it for
Yes,
the 6th.
just leave it for the
Get
6th.
that to him quickly, that would be helpful. March 6th, 9 o'clock.
Yeah. And the last matter, Your Honor, is 21 CF 108, State of Florida versus Brian David Pate. I've talked to the state about that. We want to leave that on the 6th. I think we're going to bring that in for a landing on that day.
Yes, Your Honor.
Last name was Pate, P-A-T-E.
Pate, P-A-T-E, yes, sir.
March 6th, 9 o'clock. All right. And folks, as most of you were here, we've been going at this for 2 hours. We're not here to destroy kidneys. We're going to take a brief break.
But before we break, Your Honor, there is one more matter, and I apologize, Judge. I probably should have handled this first. Mr. Henderson, Tony Henderson, is in court in Santa Rosa County. He asked me to cover a matter for him. It's 22 CF.
Soaps, bath bombs, and other bath and body products.
I'll say
Made by
Kevin
Dandridge
Charles
At Hub
Josie.
City
Mr.
Soap.
Josie is here,
Visit
Your
us
Honor.
at 1092 North Verdon.
And that case number is 22 CF 1289. Mr. Henderson was just retained last week, and he's just asking for a continuance.
Judge, Public Defender's Office, we did a stipulation substitute counsel in the case.
Oh, keep it down, please.
So, Mr. Josie, you've already paid your fee to Mr. Henderson?
Yes, sir.
All right. State have any objection?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Motion to substitute counsel is granted, and it'll be reset for April 24.
That's all I have. Thank you, Your Honor.
Stay in touch with Mr. Henderson, sir. We'll be in recess for 10 minutes until 12 after 11 by my clock.
All rise.
It's so nice when we don't have cases.
Yes. Those are definitely we have reset, right? Okay. That works.
They're not charged with anything arising out of this case. But I didn't know that they have cases pending.
Rents, Renfro, Sullivan,
Yeah, I've got your
But then now it's apparently guilty
Yes.
there, and you want to be there. That's what they're telling me. They're telling me Alice is like, they're like, oh, and I told them, they just need to give us.
It's a new law.
Three of us sitting on a conference call.
I think that they
Come up with a date.
dismiss it.
But yeah, y'all have a couple days you're available.
Oh, actually, I already got it typed up on Renfro.
I can, I can change it right now, actually, if you have it understood.
Yeah.
And,
I've never even been to our room yet. Is it a withhold or an adjudicate on the possession? I would have to tell them about the license.
I don't see any felonies, so.
Yeah, he said it was a social.
but Hayden has told me
Well.
it's for a week for them. It's just a week.
Yeah, I noticed you weren't here last week. Maybe a day off or something.
You look great, work.
Yeah.
So
it's independent.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
30 minutes. Yes.
Check out the soaps, bath bombs, and other bath and body products, all made by hand with natural ingredients at Hub City Soapery. Visit us at 1092 North Verdon Boulevard in Crestview or shop online at hubcitysoapery.com. Hub City Soapery.
So how did Aaron get so lucky? And you get so unlucky.
Right. She's been gone since about Tuesday. She had something with a kid.
That's cool. She's smart girl. Yeah, y'all gotta tell Wilkerson, y'all need somebody to come relieve y'all so y'all can have lunch.
Communicate and then reach an agreement with the deposition, then we can set it for a weekly or a miscellaneous day.
Sergeant Jinks, do you have who is the duty judge for tomorrow?
Okay, yes, so just set it. Sort of.
Oh, no, this one is changed. She said she's done with probation. She's done, then y'all can do whatever y'all want to do. Who? Judge Mason? They give her special authority? She's county court. Oh, no. For us up here. Oh, okay. It was worth a shot. It'd be say senior judge.
See, I'm just curious. It's Booth, right?
Judge Rimmer? Okay, thank you.
Doesn't look like y'all can keep a judge very well.
We're bad like that.
You know the officer made in the case? I can find it.
Keep you on the right side of the.
We need to.
I just like to move around. I like to move around. No. No. Mm-hmm.
Oh, that would have been a way easier.
Huh?
I would have thought that job would have been much easier.
It's the boss. Mm-hmm. That's the reason why I left to begin with.
Ariana?
Yes.
Oh, I was just telling it.
Check out the soaps, bath bombs, and other bath and body products, all made by hand with natural ingredients at Hub City Soapery. Visit us at 1092 North Verdon Boulevard in Crestview or shop online at hubcitysoapery.com. Hub City Soapery.
I am. I'd like to see if she's good. I am good at what she does, whatever she's at.
Well, thank you. Yeah, oh yeah. Definitely nice, Shirley.
It's not gonna be, yes, it has an alternate.
Oh. This, I had special One tells you, this is what you have to do.
Oh, Lord.
That's getting on my nerves. Let me see.
Seat, please. All right, is Mr. Gibbs present?
Let me give you my cell number.
Call case, please. One counsel ready? Good morning.
Bo Powell for the record, on behalf of Cheryl Vick.
Is that with a Victor as V?
Yes, sir. VICK.
Maybe mine.
22 CF 2561. She's present. Judge, we're close to a resolution. I don't think we'll have it done by Monday. The state and I are in agreement to kick it to your next cycle, and if we maybe bring it in early.
State's in agreement?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you're Ms. Vick, is that right? You are Ms. Vick? Yes, sir. Is it all right to continue the case so they can try to work things out with you? Yes, sir. All right. Defense request to continue granted, April 24, April 24, 9 o'clock. Stay in touch with the attorney, ma'am.
Thank you, Judge. The next matter I have is Aaron Renault, RONNOW, 22 CF 3056. We have deposition scheduled for March 31st. I don't believe the state's objecting to a
Is she in
continuance.
custody, or is there a waiver?
Waiver.
No objection.
Without objection, granted.
Have Bryson Gurney, Gurnee, 22 CF 1043. And waiver on file for Mr. Gurney. And the state and I are in agreement for a continuance, Judge. We do have depositions scheduled.
Need to get it wrapped up. You're coming up on a year on that matter. So,
Yes, sir.
without objection, granted.
Have Megan Velez,
Last name again?
Velez, VELEZ, 22 CF 1776. She was present this morning. I believe she's still outside, Judge. I did speak to her, but we do have a waiver on file as well. And same situation, we do have depositions scheduled. I don't believe the state's objecting.
No, Your Honor, we're not objecting on that.
How is her last name spelled?
It's Alan Velez, Your Honor.
Oh, I'm sorry,
It's
Judge.
listed under Alan.
I have Charlie. Let me double check here. There might be.
Megan Allen Velez.
I have Charles Earl Allen Velez.
Your Honor, the Allen is ALLEN.
Right. And what's the case number you have?
221776, Your
A
Honor.
different case number. Let me pull up that case. Hang on just a moment here. And you say 22?
Yes, sir. 1776.
Megan Lee Allen Velez.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Madam Clerk, we got that? Okay. And so what's the request here?
Asking for a continuance. The state's not objecting. We have depositions
Is there a
scheduled.
waiver?
There is.
That's correct, Your Honor. The depositions are in the process of being scheduled. It's got 3 attorneys involved besides myself. We'll get there.
Request granted, April 26. I'm sorry, it was 24, wasn't it? April 24.
Last matter, Judges Crystal Martinez.
Martinez, did you say?
Yes, sir.
All right.
And if we could put this on Monday, Judge, we anticipate a resolution.
And there's a waiver here.
There is.
March 6, 9 o'clock.
Thank you, Judge. That's all I have this morning.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you. Jerry Davis. And Judge, we are close on Mr. Davis's matter. The state is reviewing this for drug court, I believe, going to take a look at it for drug court. And
There's a waiver?
there is a waiver.
So do you want
We-
March 6th or April 24th?
I don't think we're going to have it resolved by the 6th. If we could put it on the April docket. It is an older case, but we are getting close.
Yes, Your Honor, that would be fine.
You're right at a year now in the next 2 weeks, so April 24th, try to get it resolved. If you can, call it in early.
Thank you, Judge. I believe that is all on the docket. Thank you. Have a good day.
All right, who is next?
Morning, Your Honor. Glenn Swiatek for Shelley Edwards. She has two cases, 22 CF 1951 and 1969.
All right, and is she present?
She was here earlier. I sent her on her way, but she does have a waiver.
All right, and what's your request?
If we can leave that set for docket day for presumptive plea, I have an issue to work out. With
Yes, Your Honor.
Small
March
issue to
6th.
work out.
March 6th at 9 o'clock, both cases.
Okay.
Thank you.
Your Honor, Luis Lopez, 22 CF 1418. On this case, Your Honor, I'm waiting for deposition transcripts to come in to review with my client. If we can have a one-cycle continuance, the state has no objection.
That is correct, Your Honor. That is without objection. We just completed those depositions. I understand he needs to review those.
You have a waiver?
Yes, Your Honor.
Motion granted, April 24th.
Sorry, did you say 24th?
Yes, sir. 9 o'clock.
And the last case is Edgar Nunez, 21 CF 1005. That case is about to conclude. I believe we can get it done by the April 24th date. The state doesn't have an objection.
That's correct, Your Honor. That's without objection. Just get in touch with me if you would, sir.
You have a waiver?
Yes, Your Honor.
This one's coming up on 2 years old, so it does need to get resolved, so.
Yes, sir.
Motion granted, April 24th.
All right, thank you. Your Honor, that's all I have today.
Thanks, sir. Good to see you.
Good to see you, too.
Good morning, Your Honor. Ed Ellis. I represent Ryan Booth. It's case number 22 CF 2345. He is in custody in Santa Rosa County.
His last name is Booth?
Booth, B-O-O-T-H. And we have filed a waiver of appearance as well. I was speaking with the state. We have depositions scheduled for March 31st, 8 depositions, and so we're going to pass it and move for continuance, Your
No
Honor.
objection, Your Honor.
Granted.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Counsel have a case ready?
Jennifer Flowers with Regional Conflict Counsel. You're ready for all of them? Yeah. Should I just call the
Call
docket?
case, please.
Okay. Donnie Atkinson. Your Honor, Donnie Maurice Atkinson is here today, 22 CF 2985. He is present and approaching. Your Honor, this is my first time up with Mr. Atkinson, so we're requesting a continuance.
How's his name spelled, please?
No objection.
Last name Adkinson.
First one on the docket. I was thinking A-T, so. All right, and you're Mr. Atkinson? And do you have any objection to the continuance in this matter? It's a fairly new case. Your attorney needs time to work it out. Motion granted, April 24. Keep in touch with your attorney, sir.
Next I have out of custody is Travis Dale Anderson. Mr. Anderson is present and approaching. and 21 CF 2155. Your Honor, we have depositions set with the state in this matter on April 3rd, so we're requesting for a continuance.
No objection.
And you're Mr. Anderson?
Sir.
Stay in touch with the attorney, sir. It sounds like your case is getting close to getting ready. April 24 at 9 o'clock.
Venetia Berry. Venetia Berry is present and approaching, and 22 CF 2234. Your Honor, we have an offer to resolve this case with a PTI. So if we could put her on for docket day on Monday, the 6th, I think we can have that paperwork done.
Yes, no objection, Your Honor.
Ms. Berry, the offer's been made that'll basically let you resolve the case out of court with kind of a pretrial probation. If you follow through and do everything you're supposed to do, the charges will end up getting dropped. So talk to your attorney, see what you can do to try to work it out.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
So Monday, March 6th, 9 o'clock.
Well done.
Touch with the attorney, please.
Thank you very much.
You're all done. Brianna Blaine is present and approaching, and 22 CF 903. We've entered into a deferred
Taken into custody, so.
Make a note of that. That was Mr. Atkinson.
Right.
Your Honor, this is Brianna Blaine. We've got a deferred prosecution agreement that I think she just will take care of for PTI with the PTI people. So she's not entering a plea.
Okay.
It's just a deferred prosecution.
So, ma'am, what that means, much like I mentioned to the last lady who was up here, this is an agreement with kind of a pretrial probation. If you do the things they're requesting that you do, at the end of a time period, the charges will end up being dropped. So it's very important that you do that. Otherwise, you may have to come back to court and face a trial on these charges.
Yes,
You
sir.
understand? Is that acceptable to you? Okay. Please check with the probation office, and they'll work it out with you. Returnable date, or how do we do that? What's the clerk's preference here? You want a returnable date or not? Sure. All right. Probation have a suggested returnable date? About 6 months?
Yeah, it's a 6-month
She only
DPA.
got 6 months of pretrial intervention.
So we could do a 6-month control date.
That'd be fine.
All right.
Works for me. Next out of custody, I have Gabrielle Christmas.
Last name again, please.
Christmas, like the holiday. 21 CF 1764. Your Honor, we have a signed, well, I've got to get it signed by the state attorney really quickly for a. Your Honor, may I approach with the plea?
Thank you. Do we have a score sheet with us as well?
Your Honor, I'm going to have to file them later. I'm accessing them to save the point total.
And just so the court's aware, this was a PTI referral originally that she was not able to successfully complete, so now this is the agreed-upon plea.
Rough estimate about the score?
Yes, Your Honor.
What's the rough estimate about her score?
I think it's 16 point, I think she didn't have any prior felonies, so.
Ma'am, if you'll raise your right hand to be sworn, please. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
Please speak up loud and clear. State your name.
Gabrielle Christmas.
And Ms. Christmas, I have your written plea agreement here, and Is this your signature on the last page of your agreement?
Yes, sir.
Did you have a chance to read all of it before you signed it?
Yes, sir.
Any questions about anything in it?
No, sir.
Understand everything in it?
Yes, sir.
Understand you're giving up your right to a jury trial, all trial rights, and the right to appeal guilt?
Yes, sir.
But you keep the right to appeal fundamental issues or issues on sentencing errors. Have you had enough time to talk to your attorney about your decision?
Yes, sir.
Are you satisfied with her advice?
Very.
Does anyone promise you anything besides what is in this agreement to get you to plead?
No, sir.
Have you been threatened or made to plead when you don't want to?
No, sir.
Had any medicine, drugs, or alcohol in the last 24 hours?
No, sir.
Ever been committed to a mental health facility?
No, sir.
It's a little concerning. What happened? Why couldn't you complete pretrial?
I got another case going on as far as with DCF is concerned, and then it was something that had been prior that come back. Yes, sir.
A new case would be a reason to terminate pretrial intervention. So the point is this. You're going to be on real probation now.
I am. No.
That agreement is actually for just a withhold and court costs. She's going to pay the court costs within a allotted amount of time.
I had not scanned all that first. So at any rate, the point is you will have, as a consequence of this, some form of a record.
Yes, sir.
That will mean that you face a greater risk of jail or possibly prison if you get into further trouble in the future. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
And this has no bearing on any new case that you might have recently had that occurred after or occurs after today. Do you understand that? Now, will this violate any probation she's on?
No, Your Honor. I think the
Occurred
case she's
before?
talking about was a DCF case,
Yes.
not a criminal case.
Gotcha. All right. So at any rate, ma'am, tell me what happened here, this charge of possession of some drugs.
I was actually riding in my vehicle and I had given a couple people a ride and they had found something in the vehicle and I didn't, really know it was in there.
Why did you get stopped?
I got stopped because of my busted windshield.
It was in fact broken and you hadn't had it repaired?
Yes, sir.
Do you have insurance on the car?
I did at the time, yes, sir.
You understand that windshields get repaired, you just go and,
You have to have full coverage insurance.
you didn't have that, you just had.
Liability. I have 4 kids, yes, sir.
Well, you got to drive with, properly functioning windshield, so.
Yes, sir.
At any rate, so what kind of drugs was it?
It was spice.
And is that a felony level substance these days?
Yes, it is.
Did you know it was there?
No, sir, I did not.
So you never exercised any control over it? You never held it?
No, sir.
Where was it found?
Under the seat, I believe.
Under whose seat?
The passengers.
And you didn't see him put it there or tell him to put it there or anything like that?
No, sir.
You understand you might have a complete defense here with regard to whether you were in actual or constructive possession of a drug, and you give up that defense by entering your plea.
Yes, sir.
You think that's best?
Yes, sir. I'm ready to just get it over with, done.
Well, that's up to you, ma'am. It's going to have some costs involved with it.
Some costs.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yes, sir.
And let me just inquire, it's got, so this is $515 plus $100 cost of prosecution, so $615 in court costs?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. So, ma'am, at this time, the court will withhold adjudication. You'll be required to pay a total of $615 in court costs and costs of prosecution. You're entitled to a hearing regarding reasonable attorney fees. The request is for a $50 application fee if unpaid, plus a $100 public defender fee. Do you need a hearing about whether those fees are reasonable?
No, sir.
Okay. Find that you've waived your right to a reasonable attorney fee hearing, and assess those fees at $50 application fee plus a $100 public defender fee. You'll be given credit for any payments that you made during your pretrial intervention period. All monies need to be paid within 180 days, otherwise it'll then go to collections. And if it goes to collections, you could end up having your driver's license revoked and some other consequences. So you're advised of your right to appeal within 30 days. You have the right to an attorney. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed.
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, if I may, I have the score sheet.
Okay, thank you.
May I hand it to defense counsel?
You may. Thank you very much. No objection to the score sheet, correct?
No objection from the defense.
Thank you. Next case, please.
16 points, 'cause it's level 3. It's nothing. Okay.
Call case, please. Next case, please.
Okay, all done.
all right.
Thank you, thank you. Heather Creech. Your Honor, Heather Creech is present and approaching in 22 CF 2452. We have an executed plea and sentencing agreement. May I approach?
All right, ma'am, if you raise your right hand to be sworn. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
And state your name, please.
Heather Creech.
And is this your signature on the written plea agreement?
Yes.
Okay, so you signed that?
Yes.
Did you read all of it before you signed it? Have any questions about anything in it? You understand everything in it? Do you understand that you're pleading no contest to count 2, a charge of possession of drug paraphernalia? That's a misdemeanor. And so you understand you're giving up your right to a trial about that matter?
Yes.
All your trial rights and the right to appeal guilt, but you keep the right to appeal fundamental issues or issues on sentencing errors. And have you had enough time to talk to your attorney about this decision? Are you satisfied with the advice given?
Yes.
Seem a little hesitant, but the point is your attorney's here to give you advice, and sometimes it's not advice that you find very palatable, but it's the right thing to do. But you have the right to reject the advice if you don't agree with it. You understand that?
Yes.
So if you want to go along with your attorney's advice? Okay. And have you been threatened or forced or made to plead when you don't want to? And have you had any medicine, drugs, or alcohol in the last 24 hours?
No.
So tell me about how this drug paraphernalia was found.
It was a CBD pen, and they pulled me over because they said I didn't stop behind the bar line. And they
Did you or
checked.
did you not?
I stopped, but then I had to pull forward because there was a building in my way, so I couldn't see. And then I sat there for like 2 minutes before I could go out onto the road, waiting for traffic anyhow. And so I don't know if I stopped behind the bar line or not. I know I stopped at the stop sign and I had to wait, but I couldn't see the first time I stopped, so I moved up. But when they pulled
Technically,
me
you
over,
have to stop, and then you can pull forward from there, as long as you're behind the line. You understand that?
yeah, that line's hard to see when it's
Tell
on
me
the ground.
about, was this your stuff, your paraphernalia?
Well, it was a CBD pen. It was mine. I didn't.
Did you have a prescription for it?
No, I didn't know we had to have one for CBD pens.
What kind of pen are you talking about?
A CBD pen that you buy at the store,
Just from a normal
from a
convenience
normal
store?
gas station.
All right. Well, to the extent that it is a drug paraphernalia, or you didn't have it as for any illegal drug use, but proper legal drug use, you may have, number one, you might have a legal issue about your stop by the police. Number two, you might have a defense if this was not really illegal drug paraphernalia, but for permissible use. You understand that? You're waiving all those issues by accepting this agreement. Do you understand that?
Yes.
You think that's best?
Yes.
Hesitant, you have to make the final choice, ma'am. Nobody can make it but you. Do you want to do this or not?
Yes.
And your plea to be freely, voluntarily, knowingly, and intelligently made. There's a sufficient factual basis to support the plea. Any possible legal issues or possible defenses are voluntarily waived. Does the state want to proceed on count one?
Yes, Your Honor.
How do you want to proceed on count one?
We're not processing the count one.
And so at this time, ma'am, on count two, you'll be adjudicated guilty with credit for time served. You'll pay $515 in court costs. And actually, is that the correct amount here for a misdemeanor?
Is misdemeanor cost?
Oh, yeah, the misdemeanor costs would be
270.
270.
Yep.
So 270, is that plus $50 cost of prosecution?
I don't believe so, Your Honor. The 270 includes, I think, that $50. No?
You want me to correct this to 270 court costs?
Yes.
Without additional
It's
costs?
270 for the misdemeanor court costs.
What about
And
for
then-
paraphernalia? Is there an extra bump there?
No,
So-
Your Honor.
No.
All right. So I'm going to scratch through the cost of prosecution, and I'll revise it to $270 court costs. That includes the required cost of prosecution for a misdemeanor. And since this is a misdemeanor, in addition, I'll change the amount of defense fees to $100 as a $50 application fee and a $50 attorney fee. So, ma'am, you're entitled to a hearing regarding reasonable attorney fees. Do you need a hearing about whether these fees are reasonable?
Oh.
Waiving your right to a reasonable attorney fee hearing, and so it'll be a $50 application fee plus a $100 public defender fee. Those matters, financial obligations need to be paid within 180 days. Otherwise, they'll go to collections. You understand that?
Yes.
You're advised of your right to appeal within 30 days. You have the right to an attorney. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed. Thank you.
Braden Dale,
Is that what the D is?
D-A-L-E. Present and approaching.
I have that on my docket.
Yes, sir.
Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't see that. Thank
Oh,
you.
I filed the null pros Friday morning, I believe.
Okay.
Mr. Dale, the state has dropped the charges against you. You're discharged. You're free to go.
Yes.
You're done.
You're done. Thank you. You too. Okay, do you want me to keep going down? Should I do all the out of custodies first? Okay. Leanna DeLonga. And she is present and approaching, Your Honor, in 22 CF 2215. And we have, make sure everybody's signed. We have a plea agreement. May I approach?
May. We have a score sheet.
1 second, Your Honor, I'm providing the minute.
And ma'am, if you'll raise your right hand to be sworn, please. Do you swear affirm testimony you give will be the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth so help you God? State your name. Yeah, and you can put your hand down there. Is this your signature on the written plea agreement? Yes. And did you read all of it before you signed it? Yes. Do you have any questions about anything in it? Do you understand everything in it? Yes. My understanding is you're pleading no contest to all 4 counts, and that's possession of controlled substance, carrying concealed weapon or device, possession of paraphernalia, and driving with a suspended license. Is that your understanding? Yes. And do you understand you're giving up your right to a jury trial, all your trial rights, and the right to appeal whether you're guilty? However, you keep the right to appeal fundamental issues or issues on sentencing errors. And have you had enough time to talk to your attorney about your decision?
Yes.
Are you satisfied with the advice given?
Yes.
Has anyone promised you anything to get you to plead other than what is in this agreement? Have you been threatened or made to plead when you don't want to? Any medicine, drugs, or alcohol in the last 24 hours? Or been committed to a mental health facility? And what happened here?
Yeah, I was driving a car that didn't belong to me.
Okay. And why were you stopped?
He said no tag light.
Okay. What was it, after dark?
No.
All right. And did you have why were you driving that day?
I think I was going to the store. It was something minor, but I wasn't aware that my license were suspended.
Okay. And had you moved since you got your driver's license?
Yes.
Did you notify the Department of Highway Safety and Motor Vehicles about that?
In fact, I was in the process of moving at that time. No, I hadn't done that yet.
How long had it been since you'd actually left your prior residence, the residence that you were at when you got your license?
Less than a week.
Well, the law reads that they have to send notice to your last noticed address at least 20 days before a suspension. So that would have been long before this incident. So were you still getting mail at your original address?
I honestly couldn't tell you because I hadn't been there in a while. I worked out of town.
Well, the point is that if it was more than 20 days, and I presume your attorneys reviewed the green sheet to check that issue, then it's presumed given to you and that you have notice even if you don't actually get it.
Right.
At any rate, so tell me about the substances and having a weapon with you and drug paraphernalia.
I had a knife that I did a photo shoot with for.
You don't have to go in it.
Okay, it was a knife that someone gave me, and I had no idea that it would be considered a concealed weapon. It was a pocket knife to me.
And where was it? In your purse?
It was in a bag in the car, in the back seat.
Okay, so you didn't actually have it on you at the time?
No, I did not.
All right. And tell me about the drugs and the paraphernalia.
That was just in the car in a bag that didn't belong to me.
Did you ever exercise any control over it?
I'm sorry?
Did you exercise any control over that bag?
No.
Okay, did you even know this stuff was in there?
No, I did not.
Well, you may have legal issue about why you were stopped. You may have a defense regarding the drugs and the drug paraphernalia. And you might even have a defense regarding the knife if it doesn't qualify under the rules. Was it a normal folding pocket knife? How long was it?
It has finger grips on it. And it was, I guess the blade was too long or something.
Yeah, but if it wasn't under your immediate control, you might have a defense there. But if it's not in a locked container, just being in a bag may not be sufficient. Your attorney could advise you about all those things. But the point is, to the extent there are any issues here, you're waiving all of them by taking this plea. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Do you think that's best?
Yes, sir.
And I'll find your plea to be freely, voluntarily, knowingly, and intelligently made. There's a sufficient factual basis to support the plea. Any possible defenses or legal issues are voluntarily waived. And I predict that the score sheet would be 16.6 total sentence points, possibly.
It's actually 17 points. If I may approach defense, please.
Any objection to the score sheet?
No, Your Honor, but mind if I just keep There's no felony, so there won't be a need for a score sheet. Pleading to lesser included possession of paraphernalia on the felony. So they're all misdemeanors, so I don't think a score sheet will be necessary.
Well, hang on a moment. There's a charge of possession of paraphernalia already. And that's not, possession of paraphernalia is not a lesser included of possession, as I understand it. So
I think she was charged with that count. So I guess it would be appropriate to dismiss the felony, and she pleads to the count of the paraphernalia.
that's what she had already done, as I understood the agreement, but now that I see this, but I think that's the appropriate way. There's not a lesser included of paraphernalia under possession. So,
But she was charged with
yeah, it's on the information,
Yes, Your Honor.
at least on the plea agreement. So it'll be, there's no felony here, so it's just on the misdemeanors, counts 2, 3, and 4. Is that correct?
Yes, should I?
I'm going to scratch it out and
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
indicate that count 1 is being dismissed.
Dismissing count 1 altogether. Instead of doing a lesser included.
Right then, ma'am, with that in mind, this time the court will withhold adjudication on the misdemeanors. You'll be placed on 11 months, 29 days of probation on each count concurrent. You'll enroll in a substance abuse you'll have a substance abuse evaluation within 30 days. If any treatment is recommended, you'll start the treatment within 30 days of the recommendation. You'll continuously attend and successfully complete the treatment as well as any aftercare. You'll have no alcohol or controlled substances without a doctor's prescription, and take prescribed medication only in the prescribed dosage and frequency. You pay $515 in court costs, $100 cost of prosecution, and you need a hearing about whether the $150 cost of defense, including an application fee and attorney fee, is reasonable. I'll find you waived your right to a reasonable attorney fee hearing. Furthermore, you're forfeiting the knife in question, and you're advised of your right to appeal within 30 days. You have the right to an attorney. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed. I understand the state has a motion with regard to the failure to appear.
Would dismiss in the failure to appear.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Next case, please.
Your Honor, due to the fact that Ms. Flowers was appointed, we request the supervision be waived.
Granted.
No objection.
Jessica Fickett.
Last name again?
Fickett, Fickett. She's present and approaching, and 22 CF 2574. Your Honor, this is my first time up on this case.
See it on the docket. That's S is in Sierra.
This is Jessica Louise Fickett.
An F.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I thought it was an S. I apologize.
What's your phone number?
0586.
She's doing all right out of custody.
Okay.
And Your Honor, we're requesting a continuance for us to meet and go over discovery.
No objection.
You have any objection, ma'am?
Me? No, sir.
Okay. Stay in touch with the attorney.
Yes, sir.
Rest for continuance is granted. Docket day, or excuse me, the next court date will be April 24 at 9 a.m.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
Richard Adam Glover. Glover. I think he's outside. He was out.
Richard Glover.
I know he's here, Your Honor, but we can pass him. He's out in the hallway.
See if he comes in. Here he comes.
And we're here today in case number 22 CF 2131, and we have an executed plea and sentencing agreement, if I may approach. Thank you.
I was able to see all of my folks.
Reviewing this, looks like plea to counts 2, 3, and 4 only.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Sir, if you'll raise your right hand to be sworn. Do you swear affirm the testimony you give will be the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? And please speak up loud and clear. State your name.
Richard Adam Glover.
Mr. Glover, have a written plea agreement. Is this your signature on it?
Yes, sir.
Did you read all this document before you signed it?
Yes, sir.
Have any questions about anything in it?
No, sir.
Understand everything in it? You understand you're giving up your right to a jury trial, all trial rights, and the right to appeal guilt on these 3 counts? But you keep the right to appeal fundamental issues or issues on sentencing errors. Had enough time to talk to your attorney about your decision? Satisfied with her advice?
Yes, sir.
Anyone promise you anything other than what is in this agreement to get you to plead? Have you been threatened, forced, or made to plead when you don't want to?
No, sir.
Had any medicine, drugs, or alcohol in the last 24 hours? Ever been committed to a mental health facility? You understand they're offering a withheld adjudication on the felony, so it means you're not a convicted felon. But if you mess up on the probation that's being offered, you could be.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so it's very important you do what you're supposed to do here and stay out of trouble. And tell me what happened here regarding resisting an officer with violence, assault on a law enforcement officer, and threat of death against a law enforcement officer.
New medication and I was intoxicated.
Okay. So how did they have contact with you, to your knowledge?
I passed out in the middle of the road.
Okay, and when they woke you up, you got a little rowdy? You remember anything that happened?
A little bit.
You remember threatening anybody to kill them? Who did
I
you
did.
think they were?
Sir?
Did you know they were law enforcement?
Yes, sir, I did.
Bad move.
Yes, it was. It was very bad on my part.
Yes, sir. Even when you're intoxicated, you don't do that stuff.
Yes, sir.
But at any rate, so did you struggle with them? Or hit them?
Yes, sir, I did.
All right. And threaten them with death. So curiosity, when there's threat of death against law enforcement officer, does that mean that assault is a lesser or an equivalent offense? Theoretically, they're similar elements.
There might have been, if I may, Your Honor, sorry to interrupt, there might have been different facts supporting each charge. He's currently charged with assault.
I understand. Was there more than a threat of death? In other words, was he
It's my understanding
back
that
a fist or anything that created a fear?
from my reading of the report, he repeated the same statement a couple of times. There is issue as to whether he was asked to repeat it, or he repeated spontaneously?
Was there any physical action on his part that created a fear in the officer's mind?
The fact in the report described the defendant kicking the glass as he was being transported.
I'm sure you've reviewed this with your attorney, so to the extent that there were different elements that are allowed by law, these may be separate chargeable offenses and not one basically the equivalent of the other. So at this time, your plea stands. I do find the plea to be freely, voluntarily, knowingly, and intelligently made. There's a sufficient factual basis to support it. And how does the state want to proceed on count one?
The state dismisses count one.
All right, sir, at this time, the court will withhold adjudication of guilt on count two. You'll be adjudicated guilty on counts 3 and 4. You'll be placed on 2 years probation on count 1, 11 months, 29 days probation on counts, 2 years probation on count 2, 11 months, 29 days probation on counts 3 and 4. All those will be concurrent with each other. You'll be required to submit to a substance abuse evaluation within 30 days. If any treatment is recommended, you'll continuously attend and successfully complete the treatment as well as any aftercare. You'll also enroll in an anger management course within 60 days, continuously attend and successfully complete that. You'll pen a letter of apology to the officers and do that, submit it to your probation officer within 30 days. And the court costs here are $615, is that correct?
I think I left
For the
it blank.
felony?
Is there a different court cost?
Or is it?
It's, yes, it's 515 if it's not a drug case.
Okay, $515 and then $100 cost of prosecution.
So $615.
$615, yes, Your Honor, sorry.
And plus the attorney's fees, and do you need a hearing about any reasonable attorney's fees, which are alleged to be $150 here, sir? You need a hearing on that? Whether
Oh,
they're
so I
reasonable or
can
not?
come up with it.
You agree that those fees are reasonable? All right. And you've waived your right to an attorney fee hearing. You're waiving costs of supervision in this matter as well. And, sir, you're advised of your right to appeal within 30 days. You have the right to an attorney. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed. Thank you, sir. Next case, please.
Jakia Griffin. Jakia Griffin.
Kia Griffin. Call another case while we're waiting.
Oh, she's an inmate?
Okay.
Okay, Matthew Hartley. Matthew Hartley is present and approaching in 22 CF 1141. We're requesting a continuance, a final continuance on this matter. We have depositions set for April 3rd.
No objection.
You in agreement, Mr. Hartley?
Oh, yes, sir, I'm an innocent man.
Well, stay in touch with your attorney, and hopefully that'll get addressed in court properly. And next court date's April 24 at 9 o'clock. Next case, please.
Good to go?
Ready,
Taya.
Ms. Griffin? She's
Taya
in.
Hinton.
Okay. I got you.
Taya Hinton is here today, 22 CF 1982 and 22 CF 1983. Your Honor, we have depositions scheduled in April, so we're requesting a continuance.
No objection.
And Ms. Hinton, is that acceptable to you?
Sir.
All right, April 24 at 9 o'clock. Stay in touch with your attorney. Next case?
Okay.
Keep 'em
Pamela, should I continue to do all the out of custody?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
You don't have to wait on me. Just call one up
Thank you.
right after
Okay.
another.
Pamela Kelly. Pamela Kelly is present and approaching in 22 CF 477. Your Honor, we also have depots set in April in this case, so we're requesting a continuance.
No objection.
Right, and I would imagine counsel's relatively new to this case in your role, but
There's been some changes, and I've been on the case a bit, but we've kind of switched
over
gears.
a year old now, so we need to try to bring it in for a landing.
Yes, Your Honor, that's our
Do
goal.
you have any objection, Ms. Kelly?
No, sir. I'm
All right, granted, April 24, 9 o'clock.
That's it, okay. Let's see. Justin Maddox is present and approaching, and 22 CF 1754 and 22 CF 1843. Your Honor, we have a plea worked out with the state, but we would like to, he has a few things he wants to take care of. Could we put this for docket day on the 6th for a plea?
All right with you, sir, on Monday, May 6th, 9 o'clock. Meet with your attorney in the meantime. Hopefully you can work it out.
Thank you.
Okay, he's in custody. Gloria Pettit is here today. I have her in 22 CF 1201. She has another case. The public defender represents her on 23 CF 105.
We have one on today's docket.
It's, okay. Well, Your Honor, can we put ours on for Monday, the 6th? She's been conveyed a global offer. I'll get with you guys.
Judge, and information's been filed in the new case. She's set for arraignment on the 2nd, on the new case. So if you want to set it for the 2nd, for the global, or we can arraign her now and set it off for the 6th, maybe.
You guys want to just arraign her now?
Well, I mean, yeah, that's fine. If we want to just leave her set for the 2nd.
Or leave her set, it's not my case that has to be arraigned, so.
Yeah, we can just leave her set for the 2nd, and then if you have a global resolution.
We do.
Set them both for this one too, set it for March 2.
My issue, I wasn't planning to be in court on March 2nd.
Well, and worst case scenario, if you wanted to go ahead and leave her set for the 6th, from Thursday, we can set her for the 6th as well.
Okay.
So theoretically set yours for the 6th,
Yes.
and they'll set it potentially then as well.
Yes.
After arraignment.
Okay. Yes.
We're going to have 2 attorneys, at least at this stage. Keep in touch with both of them so we can try to work things out. Thank you.
Thank you.
So keep your March 2 date for the other case, and then the March 6 date for this case. This case.
Okay, Jonathan Roberts is approaching in 22 CF 1519. Your Honor, we're requesting, it's a fairly new case, we're requesting a continuance. We have depots set for the end of next month.
That acceptable to you, sir? All right, April 24 at 9 o'clock, excuse me.
James Simmons. This is Mr. James Calvin Simmons. He's here in 22 CF 2586. We have I apologize, it's a little bit hard to read. Hopefully you'll be able to read it, Your Honor, but it's a plea and sentencing agreement.
All right. All right, sir, if you raise your right hand to be sworn, please. Do you swear a firm testimony you give will be the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
State your name, sir.
Calvin Simmons.
Mr. Simmons, I have a written plea agreement, and is this your signature on it? Yes, sir. Did you read all this document before you signed it? Yes. Any questions about anything in it? Understand everything in it? Understand you're giving up your right to a jury trial, all listed jury trial rights, and the right to appeal guilt.
Yes, sir.
But you keep the right to appeal fundamental issues or issues on sentencing errors. Have you had enough time to talk to your attorney about your decision? Are you satisfied with the advice given? Has anyone promised you anything other than what is now on the agreement as revised to get you to plead? Have you been threatened, forced, or made to plead when you don't want to?
No, sir.
You had any medicine, drugs, or alcohol in the last 24 hours?
No, sir.
You ever been committed to a mental health facility? Nope. You ever been on community control before?
Never in my life.
Well, it's a very strict probation. In other words, you have to be at home with a specified address. You can only leave at approved times to go to approved places for approved reasons. You can't even walk next door to visit your neighbor unless you tell your community control officer about it. You understand that? So it's very strict. At any rate, and I have a score sheet here with 24.8 total sentence points. Any objection?
Objection.
All right. So tell me what happened here, sir. You're charged with felony petty theft.
Yeah, for robbing Walmart, Your Honor.
So you stole from Walmart? What'd you steal?
Eggs.
All right. And how many prior theft convictions did you have?
Never. None.
Never. What's the basis for felony petty theft?
In the charging information, there were alleged petty thefts in the past.
That I don't even know nothing about.
You don't recall being convicted of petty
No, I
theft
have
before?
not.
Well, if you weren't convicted of it, then that would be a few less points. They've got, apparently you've got a prior grand theft charge on your record, which would be enough to get you to charge, and it's alleged only one time. Apparently a worthless check charge. To the extent those qualify, you might have some objection to the score sheet. It might be a lesser charge, but under the circumstances, you're pleading to a felony here. Do you understand that? You think that's best?
He's 5 years in prison, sir.
Well, understood. But the point is that right now, if this is properly scored, you likely would not be facing a 5-year in prison. That's the legal maximum, but the court typically does other things less than that. It might be that you could get it, but that's up to the sentencing judge based on your record. You understand that? So do you think this is the best way to resolve your case? And you've been probably trespass warned, so you can't go back to Walmart anymore. Don't do that, otherwise you could violate your supervision, or let alone commit any other thefts. So at this time, I do find your plea to be freely, voluntarily, knowingly, and intelligently made. There's a sufficient factual basis to support the plea. Any possible defense is voluntarily waived, and you'll be adjudicated guilty. You'll be placed on 24 months community control. You'll pay $415 court costs and $100 cost of prosecution. You will not trespass at Walmart. You're waiving any costs of supervision, or those are waived for you. You'll make a good faith attempt to complete an anti-theft course within the terms of your supervision. You'll perform 50 hours community service work. And any reason why you can't do that at a minimum rate of at least 5 hours a month? So starting March 1, that'll be at a minimum rate of 5 hours per month. Also, should you have a violation of probation or community control, witnesses can appear via Zoom or by telephone if a hearing is scheduled. Sir, you're advised of your right to appeal within 30 days. You have the right to an attorney. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed. Thank you, sir.
Sure. It's not my case. Okay, sure. I think you'll have to probably.
They're still here. Sure. Told that the interpreter left, so. All right, so we have the matter involving sign language interpreter. Sorry, I did not call that up earlier. I understood that the interpreter had to leave.
Yes.
Okay. We have Mr. Gibbs here.
Yes, sir, he's here, Judge.
Yes, I'm here, Your Honor.
Yeah. And the defendant's name?
Defendant's name, Tim.
Miss Allen, Cynthia Allen.
Have the interpreter present?
The interpreter's by Zoom, Your Honor.
Hang on a second.
Check out the soaps, bath bombs, and other bath and body products, all made by hand with natural ingredients at Hub City Soapery. Visit us at 1092 North Verdon Boulevard in Crestview or shop online at hubcitysoapery.com. Hub City Soapery.
So we're requesting a continuance to continue our work.
Your Honor, that's Ms. Sandler's case, and that's without objection.
Mr. Akins, do you have any objection? This case is getting quite a bit older. We need to try to bring it in. Request granted, April 24, 9 o'clock.
Yep.
Counsel, can you call the case up? They're here.
Thomas
All right.
Chester?
Okay.
Who's this, please?
This is Thomas Daniel Chesser and 22 CF 3100, and we're also part of the plea agreement. We've put on the plea his traffic case 22 CT 198.
Approach. Come on, let's move it.
Ms. Flowers, does,
We have a score sheet.
is it for a felony? Ms. Flowers, is it a felony? Yes. I don't have, Your Honor, there is, IT is currently accessing my computer because I have an issue, but I have the score sheet.
And there's a plea to a traffic citation also?
Yes, Your Honor, the intention was so it would all be on one probation so that his traffic citation costs could be part of that probation as well.
Sir, if you'll raise your right hand to be sworn, please. You swear affirm testimony you give will be the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? And state your name, sir.
Thomas Chesser.
Sir, I have a written plea agreement, and it indicates to me that you're pleading no contest to a charge of possession of controlled substance and possession, lesser included charge of battery under count 2, plus a traffic citation of driving with license suspended or revoked. Is that your understanding? Is this your signature on the plea agreement?
Yes, sir.
Did you read all this document before you signed it?
Yes, sir.
Do you have any questions about anything in it? Do you understand everything in it? Do you understand that by entering the plea, you're giving up your right to a jury trial, all listed trial rights and the right to appeal guilt, but you keep the right to appeal fundamental issues or issues on sentencing errors? And have you had enough time to talk to your attorney about this decision? Are you satisfied with the advice given?
Yes, sir.
Anyone promise you anything other than what is in this agreement to get you to plead?
No, sir.
Have you been threatened or made to plead when you don't want to? Had any medicine, drugs, or alcohol in the last 24 hours? Ever been committed to a mental health facility? Thank you. All right. And tell me about having getting stopped and having some drugs on you.
Sorry?
Tell me about how the drugs were found.
Well, I got pulled over a couple days before that, bonded out on the driving, and then I was at my cousin's house. We get into an argument. He calls the police on me, and then they come up and found the drugs.
You had drugs on you? What kind of drugs? All right. And then you got into a scuffle with somebody? You touched or struck someone
Previous
against
to
the will?
that, yes. Yeah, earlier in that, like an hour before that.
The police?
No,
Who was it?
cousin.
All right. And you had a prior battery? But they're giving you another misdemeanor battery on this case. And, but you were driving with your license suspended or revoked at the other time?
Yes, sir.
You knew it was revoked at the time or suspended?
Yes, sir.
Why were you driving?
I had to.
I couldn't hear you.
I had to.
Why?
'Cause I was traveling. I wouldn't even live in here.
Well, sir, unless you have a valid license, you cannot drive a car anywhere in this country.
Can you take my stuff out of collection so I can get them back?
I don't know what you're asking me.
Never mind.
Well, but under the circumstances, you understand that you're giving up any possible legal issues that you have in your case. In these circumstances, I'll find your plea to be freely, voluntarily, knowingly, and intelligently made. There's a sufficient factual basis to support your pleas. Any possible defenses or legal issues are voluntarily waived. You'll be required on the felony case to be adjudicated guilty, sentenced to 3 years probation. You'll successfully complete the Phoenix House inpatient treatment program, the bars to bed program as it's called. So you'll remain in custody until you're accepted into that program. You'll successfully complete that program as well as any aftercare. You'll pay $515 in court costs, $100 cost of prosecution. You're entitled to a hearing regarding reasonable attorney fees. And actually with a battery, aren't there higher costs? The battery charge? Madam Clerk?
No, Your Honor.
The clerk would.
So there's an extra $301, is that right? 302? 352. So with the battery charge, and this is a misdemeanor battery? Okay. The total cost then on the case will end up being $515 plus $352, so that would be about $67. You understand that? All right. And do you need a hearing about the reasonable attorney fees?
Yes, sir.
All right, so it'd be a $50 application fee plus a $100 public defender fee. And then on the traffic infraction or citation, to be adjudicated guilty, pay $270 in court costs. And once again, $100, $50 application fee and a $50 attorney fee on that matter. All right, this was a criminal traffic violation?
Yes.
Okay. And that's to be payable during the period of your probation on the felony case, so within the 3 years that you're on that probation. And your costs of supervision are waived, and obviously you'll not possess or consume any controlled substances without a doctor's prescription, and take prescribed medications in the prescribed dosage and frequency. Counsel, is there anything else I may have overlooked, other than the score sheet, which I'm going to need a copy of?
No, Your Honor. I will provide the score sheet later today, maybe when we have a break and I have a chance to print it out. It's 54 points.
All right, so this is going to be a mitigated sentence then?
Yes, Your Honor.
So do you understand, sir, that with that kind of score sheet, you'll likely be facing a state prison sentence if you mess up on your supervision?
Yes, sir.
All right. So your advisory right to appeal within 30 days. You have the right to an attorney. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed. What was the decision about the misdemeanor? What was your actual recommendation there?
I'll say
Your
credit for time
probation?
served.
That's what you wish? Any objection?
Yes.
No objection. That's the easiest way to handle it.
All right, time served on that.
Whoever's. Oh, they're going to do that now. Okay.
All right, I've got Ms. Stingler, a sign language interpreter present. We could call up
Yes,
Alan
Your
again.
Yes. We are not able to, I don't see Ms. Tingler on the video. There she is, okay.
Thank you, ma'am. And Ms. Stingler, if you will, my apologies for all the confusion today, but you swear or affirm that you'll accurately and precisely translate these proceedings to help you God?
Yes, Your Honor.
Have you had a chance to communicate with Ms. Allen before, and
No, sir.
did you sign with her and see if you two can communicate?
No, sir.
Just go ahead and do that with her right now.
I don't know if,
I do not see anyone
Okay.
except for you.
Go ahead.
There she is, okay.
Ma'am, you can,
Stand-
if you would,
come
come
stand
up here. Well,
So that that camera, so she can see you.
yes. And actually, if you can kind of point it to the side so she can see the screen.
Can you see the interpreter clearly?
Please sign back, ma'am.
Sign yes or no, please. Yes.
Counsel?
Your Honor, Tim Gibbs on behalf of Ms. Allen, 22 CF 2819. Judge, we are asking for a continuance in this matter. I'm going to need an appointment with Ms. Allen in order to go over the case with her, as well as the plea offer from the state. So we're asking for a continuance.
No objection.
Ms. Allen, is a delay in this case okay with you?
That's good. Thank you.
Without objection, defense request. Ms. Allen?
Ms. Allen.
Watch a second.
What?
The defense request to continue is granted. Your next court date is April 24 at 9 o'clock in the morning. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome, Your Honor. Have a nice day.
Thank you.
Next should be Collie. Your Honor, this is Joshua Collie. We're here today in 23 CF 59. We're requesting a continuance. He's got several other cases that we just need to meet on them all, so.
All right, I have 3 cases on today's docket. State?
You requesting to continue? Yes, Your Honor. No objection.
All right. And sir, do you have any objection to a continuance? All right. Defense request to continue granted, April 24, 9 o'clock.
I'll be to see you.
Go ahead, next case, please.
Lucas Walker Davison. Do you guys have Davison? I believe he's on the docket, Your Honor.
Yes.
And, but the last I checked, which was at end of last week, he was still in Bay County. The state and I are trying to reach a resolution where he can possibly sign a misdemeanor and do like a written plea in absentia. But for today's purposes, I would ask for a continuance.
No objection, Your Honor.
Is he present here, or is he?
He's not. He's not in custody.
All right, so he is in Bay County?
Yes, Your Honor.
And defense request to continue granted April 24.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor. And then whoever's next. Fell? Yep. This is Shane Michael Fell, Your Honor, 20 CF 1878. And Your Honor, we're requesting a continuance. We are setting another round of depositions in this matter. We're just waiting to coordinate with Ms. Barrickman, but it's going to take a continuance.
That's correct. There's no objection.
Counsel, this one is really getting long in the tooth. You need to bring it in for a landing.
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you have any objection, Mr. Pell? Defense request to continue granted April 24.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'll be to see you before that. Okay. Your Honor, this is Anthony Michael Gabrielle. We're here in 20 CF 2880, 21 CF 1861, and 21 CF 2022. Your Honor, I think the state has some announcements they want to make.
Which case is this? Are you continuing the case?
Yeah, we're requesting to continue the matter. We were working with a doctor that kind of flaked on us, so we've got a new doctor that we're going to have him evaluated for a couple of potential defenses. So we're requesting, I don't believe there's an objection to the continuance.
No objection, Your Honor, but the state does revoke the offer at this time.
For April 24.
Good, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
I'll be. Your Honor, this is Ernest Goodman. On the docket today, 20 CF 2967, 21 CF 971, and 22 CF 2601. Your Honor, we have depositions set in this matter beginning of April, so we're requesting a continuance.
No objection.
And reset for April 24, sir. There are VOPs traveling along with it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Next case.
I think it should be Ryan James.
Judge, Mr. James has two cases I represent as well.
See that?
Oh, this is Jakia Griffin. I didn't know you were back in jail. Okay. So, Your Honor, we're back to Ms. Griffin.
Right.
And 22 CF 2991. I wasn't aware she was incarcerated, so I would ask for a continuance.
Do you have any
No
objection?
objection.
Ms. Griffin, do you have any objection? Apparently have a somewhat newer arrest. This is a case from several months ago. It's about 90 days old, and your attorney needs time to help you to get up to speed on your case, to give you proper advice about how to handle it. It's totally different from this new case that's got you in the jail, apparently.
I'll look into it and come see you. That's up to she's got a monitor on. I thought they would take that off when you went into the.
That belongs to pretrial release, I believe. It's not one of ours. Whose is it?
It's part of her pretrial release. She was out on bond with a monitor. So.
That's pretrial releases. I can contact them.
Well, she's in custody. They might want their monitor back, so.
Yeah, Griffin.
Ms. Griffin, do you have any objection to giving your attorney time to prepare your case?
I was wanting to see if they could do some agreement about a plea.
It's not being offered at this point. Your attorney can make that offer. The state's heard your comment here, so.
I'll come see you if we can do that. We'll put you on for an earlier plea date. Okay?
So April 24 is your next court date on this matter.
Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, this is Ryan James, 22 CF 1365, 22 CF 1431.
Jay Williams for Mr. James in 22-1883.
And Your Honor, we have another round of depositions set for beginning of April, so we're requesting a continuance.
Judge, I'm going to do the same. I'll probably set depositions in my case as well. Her case is the more serious of the matter, sort of driving the train.
Well, they are somewhat older too, at least by their filing dates. So, Mr. James, do you have any objection to delaying your cases so your attorneys can get prepared for you?
No, sir. I was wondering, a bond hearing?
Your attorney can talk, they have two separate attorneys, they can coordinate setting a hearing on that if appropriate, but they'll talk to you about all that.
All right.
So, set for April 24.
Okay, I'll be back to see you.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
Your Honor, this is Andrew Eric McDonald. We're here in 23 CF 4. Your Honor, this is my first time up with Mr. McDonald. We're requesting a continuance.
All right, it looks like there are 6 cases here. Different McDonald?
Okay.
And this defendant's first name?
This is Andrew.
There we go. Okay, thank you. So there's a single case here. It's a relatively new one. And do you have any objection to the request of your attorney, sir? Continuance granted. It'll be April 24. Your attorney will be in touch.
Okay, Randy Perez. Right, Your Honor, this is Mr. Randy Perez, and we've got a plea agreement worked out with the state. He's just got to sign. We have gone through it right here.
Let me do that this way.
Yeah. I'll date it for you.
Your Honor, if I may, I'm printing out the score sheet. The total score points is 75.1. In terms of months, 35.33 months is the guidelines.
So it's 35. Okay. May I approach, Your Honor?
May.
Ramrod me again.
All right, sir, if you raise your right hand to be sworn. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Oh, yes, sir.
All right, sir. And state your name.
Randy Perez.
Mr. Perez, apparently you've got 5 different cases here. And let me double check. I only have 3 on the docket. And so these others include 21 VOP on
Ms. Flo, would it be possible the VOP cases, maybe they're set on another day?
The VOPs, I think, are actually on tomorrow's docket, but.
Right, I'm saying that's why judge cannot find all of them together.
Yes, I think they're set on tomorrow's docket.
Yeah, I'm just trying to determine which ones are here today and which ones are not, so. And these are not in sequential order, so.
I have
I wanna
just two new laws on today.
I have 22 CF 3130 and 22 CF 2416.
Those are the 2 new laws that are on today's docket. He has 3 VOPs that I believe are on tomorrow's docket, but we are wanting to enter a plea to a global resolution addressing those VOPs as well.
Well, I've got a case number on here that doesn't appear. Excuse me, I'm looking at the wrong thing. Yeah, I've only got 2 cases, so we have several threads on here. So the VOPs then are separate.
I've got a score sheet. Would you like me to approach?
Yes, ma'am.
There's no objection from the defense on the score sheet.
That's good. I should have took my chance.
Counsel, if you could assist me here with the VOPs, are they all alleging the new law violations only?
There are technical violations as well.
So I can see. So that rap sheet.
That's not your rep.
Ain't that from then 1129.
Yes.
All right.
All right, sir. I'm going to go through your plea agreement here because I can't pull up all of your cases at the same
Yes,
time
sir.
on the screen. But at any rate, you've got case number 222416 listed as driving with your license suspended plus resisting an officer without violence. And apparently it's a felony driving with license suspended charge. So I would gather that you probably are accused of having had several of those in the past, at least 2.
Ooh-wee.
And the next case, 223130, possession of a controlled substance and resisting without violence. And then a VOP from a possession of a controlled substance case regarding a third-degree felony. Another VOP regarding a 20 CF 2326, where you were on supervision for felony fleeing or eluding. I think the misdemeanors probations would likely all have expired or lapsed in the meantime. Then you have 20 CF 2295, where you had 2 counts of possession of controlled substance. So theoretically, you're facing a total of legal maximum of, looks like 32 years in prison on these charges. If you got the maximum for all counts that are still viable. And on your plea agreement, it indicates that you're pleading no contest to these various charges, including your VOP allegations. And you're going to get apparently 33 months.
35.33.
35 point, boy, this is, okay, 35.33 months on the felony charges.
That's
You
the
understand
guidelines.
that?
Yes, sir, yes, sir. As long as it's coterminous.
Well, the point is, you have a right on the new cases to a jury trial where the state would have to prove guilt beyond every reasonable doubt as to each count. On the violation of probations, you'd have the right to a violation hearing. Burden of proof there is only proof of guilt by the greater weight of the evidence, a much lower amount. Regardless of which one applies, you have the right to an attorney to assist you and all of the other trial rights that are in your agreement.
Yes, sir.
And you're giving them all up by entering this plea. Do you
Yeah,
understand that?
Miss Jennifer handled it all for me, sir.
This is your decision. She has the obligation to advise you, but you have to make the final call. Do you
She
understand
kicked
that?
me once or twice, but we got him done.
Well, that's for you to determine by your decision here, once it's accepted by the court.
Yes, sir.
So, have you had enough time to talk to her about her advice?
Yes, sir.
Are you satisfied with
Yeah,
it?
yeah, I'm fine with it,
Has
sir.
anyone promised you anything other than what I've talked about here today and what's in these written documents?
Sir, I'm good.
Have you been threatened, forced, or made to plead when you don't want to?
No, sir, no,
Had any
sir.
medicine, drugs, or alcohol in the last 24 hours?
No.
Ever been committed to a mental health facility?
No.
So tell me what happened about the driving with your license suspended and resisting an officer.
I don't know nothing about that, Your Honor.
Don't know anything about it. You weren't driving,
No, sir.
and you didn't resist any officer.
No, sir.
Have you had any prior driving with license suspended
Oh, yes, sir, I have.
Okay. So this wasn't you. You could have a complete defense as to that case and
I'm-
those charges. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
You're giving up those issues by entering your plea today. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Next new case involved a possession of controlled substance and resisting an officer without violence. You know anything about that matter?
Well, maybe that's the possession part of it, sir, but the rest of it I don't know nothing about. But I'm good at what I just
Did you try to
signed.
run away from the officers or give them a false name or anything?
Oh, no, sir.
You have some drugs on you?
Maybe a little bit, sir.
What kind of drugs?
I don't know. I think it was a little cocaine.
All right, and why did you get stopped?
I don't know.
Were you just walking down the street?
No, sir.
You're riding in a car?
I probably so.
Well, you know why the car got stopped,
No, sir.
whether you were driving or not?
No, sir.
Okay. And how was it that they got to search you to find the drugs?
Oh. I got out of here, sir. I needed some oxygen.
They stood out, and
Sir?
then they just, how did they search you? Did you say, go ahead and search me? Did they ask?
Yeah, they just patted me down, sir. That's all I know,
They asked
sir.
permission to do it?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And you said, okay?
Yes, sir.
And
Yes,
you knew
sir.
you had drugs on you?
I couldn't remember if I had it or not, sir.
Well, apparently it's alleged that you did have some, whether you remember you had them on you or not.
Yeah, I know. They got it
And
on
did-
there anyways.
Did you resist the officers that time?
Not that I know of,
No
sir.
false name, no running from them,
No, sir.
no pulling away from them, nothing?
No, sir.
So you might have a defense on that charge, you understand that? And you may have other allegations of violating your probation. Counsel, do you have any of those available? All I have is some new offenses on the one case I pulled up.
I'm sorry, does he have a technical violation along with the new law, please?
I would be just talking off the top of my head, but he had the new law violations, and then he failed to report. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
And if there were any others, you're admitting those, is that right?
Yes, sir.
You know, you make matters worse when you don't report into probation, even if you figure that you're going to get arrested for something.
Well, if they put a warrant out for me, Your Honor, they got to do their job.
Yeah, they are, but the point is, you're making matters worse when you don't do your part,
They got
turning
to do their
yourself in
job,
when you know
sir.
something's out there.
I ain't
And your
upset.
plea on these matters to be freely, voluntarily, knowingly, and intelligently made, there is a sufficient factual basis to support each plea. Any possible defenses or legal issues are voluntarily waived, and
Yeah, I'm
no
fine.
objection to the score sheet with 75.1 total sentence points. Is that correct?
Points, yes.
All right. And so this 35.33 months is just above the recommended minimum here of 35.325. So this time, sir, you'll be sentenced to 35.33 months in a state prison on each count concurrent. On the misdemeanor, or the viable misdemeanor counts, you'll be adjudicated guilty and sentenced to time served. On the new cases and on probation, your probations will be revoked, you'll be adjudicated guilty, and your probation will be You'll be sentenced to 35.33 months in the state prison on those matters, with credit for time served, and they'll be concurrent with all the other cases. All these cases will run concurrent with each other. But here's the rub, sir. You'll have more credit, in all likelihood, on the VOP cases than on the new cases. So your release date will likely be determined by your most recent arrest date.
Actually, Your Honor, we put in there coterminous to address that, so that they're concurrent and coterminous all with each other. So that's what we were trying to avoid. That's part of the plea.
Well, to the extent that that would result in arguably a mitigated sentence for the VOPs, for the new cases, I mean.
Perhaps on the new law,
If they're coterminous.
Yes, it's per the agreement, Your Honor. Mr. Perez has been identified as a victim on another case I'm prosecuting, and he has agreed to testify in that case, and that's the reason for that.
The coterminous issue would be coterminous on the new arrests, is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is that your
Coterminous
understanding?
with all of them, with the
Well,
VOPs.
that would be the case. I mean, when he terminates on the new cases, then the other cases would have expired by that point. So that's permissible.
Yes.
All right. So, Madam Clerk, do you have any questions? Okay, so it's coterminous with the most recent charges. And in addition, there will be court costs on new felony cases of $515 plus $100 cost of prosecution per case, and costs for the defense of $50 application fee and a $100 fee on, apparently there was one clerk's application in this, for these two new recent cases. So there'd be just a $100 attorney fee on the 22-3130 case.
So basically, she just had to make a record.
All right. So, and sir, your advisory right to appeal within 30 days. You have the right to an attorney. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed.
Thank you, sir. You done?
You're done.
Yes, sir. William.
Please.
Is William Schumpert ready? Your Honor, William Randolph Schumpert and 22 CF 1091 and 22 CF 2831. This is the first time up for me, so I'm requesting a continuance to get deposition set.
Schumpert? Any objection? You have a new attorney who needs to get up to speed on your case or cases. All right.
No objection from the state.
All right. April 24.
Next should be Calvin Tipton, 22 CF 894. Your Honor, I've been recently appointed to this case as well. We're requesting a continuance.
Without objection, Your Honor, and Ms. Flowers, if you need deposition, if you just give us.
Yes.
Mr. Tipton, do you have any objection to your new attorney getting up to speed on your cases? Continued until April 24.
Thank you. Next should be Eli Unault, 22 CF 2806 and 22 CF 3051. Your Honor, I'm requesting a continuance to take depositions in the new law, or in the battery case, when they're tracking together.
No objection.
All right. Mr. Unault, do you have any objection to your attorney getting up to speed on your case?
I do not, but is it possible to cancel a speedy trial? To give me more time, because I just don't agree with the state's offer?
We're not set for speedy, we're not demanding speedy trial.
There's no speedy trial right now that I'm aware of, but the issue is your attorney was trying to get ready to give you proper advice about how to handle your cases.
Yes, sir, yeah, I just don't agree with the 1129 that you're offering.
Right. Well, you have the right to reject it if that's not agreeable, and your attorney can make a counteroffer. And
I just don't want to sign nothing that I don't agree to, you know what I mean?
that's perfectly permissible, sir. You talk to your attorney about that.
Yes, sir, thank you.
It'll be continued until April 24.
Next is Brittany Way, 22 CF 2257. I don't believe she's in the Walton County Jail serving a sentence, and we're in the process of trying to get her transported here to address these charges, so I would request a continuance to get that transport order done.
You're anticipating a plea or
A plea, yes.
You could set up a Zoom theoretically.
Set it up through Zoom?
Might be possible.
I hadn't thought of that. I might try to do that. Brittany Way, just trying to get her from Walton County. Yeah, continue.
Either that or get an order in for transport and see what we can do to wrap them up.
Yes.
All right, next case.
Bruce Yarwood.
April 24 on Way. Sorry, who is the next one?
Bruce William Yarwood. He's got two cases, 22 CF 2984 and 21 CF 320. In 2984, we're requesting a continuance to set depositions if necessary. And in 21 CF 320, we're requesting to put that on a miscellaneous date for a sentencing hearing. That will take an hour.
So that's not a VOP, that's just a deferred, delayed sentencing for
Yes,
whatever reason?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. What do we have, what's the kind of sentencing? How much time do you need to be prepared between now and the hearing date?
I was going to request something more towards the end of March, if there's.
An agreement for sentencing on the one case?
Yes, Your Honor, the state's in agreement, and depending on the date, we've got several trials coming up.
Do we have a sentencing date for this division? All right, at what time, 9 o'clock? 2 p.m. All right. And might need a little longer if the state has anything they wish to present. So at any rate, and then Mr. Yarwood, the other case will be continued until April 30th, so your attorney can get up to speed on it.
That 30th is fine with me, if that's fine with Ms.
We can make
Basso.
that work, yes, ma'am. Okay. Sir.
Thank you, Your Honor.
That'll be the afternoon docket, correct?
So April 24 on the new case with a continuance March 30 on the sentencing.
That's what your sentencing will be.
Flowers, anything else?
I think that's all I have today. Oh, yeah. Oh, Michael Huertas? Yeah.
I've got lead also.
Okay, Michael Huertas is here. He's present and approaching, Your Honor. We were gonna Huertas. I guess I missed him on my docket. He wasn't on my, I've spoken with him today, but he wasn't on my docket. I apologize. We originally were gonna set for trial this time, but he has given me, and I will give the state, I just received the names of 2 witnesses that I'll provide to the state, so we're requesting another continuance to depose those witnesses, at least try to get in talk, they're witnesses that are material to the allegations.
Do you have any objection?
I just need to clarify, Ms. Flowers, these are your witnesses you want to depose?
Yes. Or they're, yes,
I need to depose them, though. So that's why I'm saying, if you're continuing to allow me the time to depose them, I need that time.
Okay, I need time to track them down, Your Honor, and.
Well, one way or the other, you're requesting a continuance.
Yeah, I'm requesting a continuance.
To locate and hopefully you'll give the names to the state in the meantime, or are you going to contact them first before you do that?
Probably in a simultaneous fashion, I'll.
Or do you have any objection to your attorney helping you to find these witnesses? If you can get her any information to help her locate them, please do so. All right, so continued until April 24.
If I may request a deadline for the defense to provide those witnesses, because I wouldn't want to wait until next pretrial for them to still look for those witnesses. March 31st?
Yes. I don't have a problem with that.
Without objection, March 31st, you need to get things done and get that information to her to help her locate them. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Whenever, Stan. And then Ricky Lett.
I've got Mr. Lett as well on another case. My understanding is Mr. Lett's in federal custody, and it's
He's been in federal custody since I started this job.
affecting ability to do anything.
You're not likely to get him back either.
So we've just continued the matter. I don't know if it would be.
That's the only thing that I can think of.
As a state, how much time is he doing in federal prison?
I have no details regarding what's going on in that case or whether he's been. I don't think he's been sentenced. I think he's just being held at this point. I think he's being.
Find out what he's charged with, let the state know, and they might communicate with their colleagues in the federal prosecutor's office and determine how to proceed on these matters, because
I think what it would take is a writ of habeas ad proscuendum from the state. My experience, and I don't practice in federal court, I've never taken the federal quiz because when I would have done that, I was in the Blunt building, and if I had the urge to beat my head against a brick wall, it was just so much easier to go and do it without crossing Garden Street.
I understand.
Your Honor, Your Honor, I'm handling all these cases for the state. I will reach out to the federal prosecutor, and additionally, I will reach out to both of the state defense attorneys to see if there's possibly a global resolution. There might be a way to do it in absentia. We certainly might be able to look into that, or not in absentia, but like via Zoom or something like that, so that we can keep it moving. But I will reach out to the feds, and I'll let you guys know.
And depending on how
long he
significant those
has.
cases are, it might affect your determination about how to proceed. So
That's correct, Your Honor. They did pick up one of our cases, what they have.
we'll reset it April 24 and see how you're progressing, or do you want to put off longer?
April 24th,
It's fine.
I think, is fine.
All right.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Judge.
That's all I have, Your Honor. Maybe excused.
Yes, ma'am, thank you.
Your Honor, I have one that I'd like to call. He has a physical therapy appointment.
All right.
5 minutes, if I could call Delroy Durham.
Last name again?
Durham, D-U-R-M, Mr. Delroy Durham. Your Honor, Tim Gibbs on Mr. Durham's behalf in 22 CF 2947. Your Honor, we're asking for a continuance in this matter to speak with the alleged victims in the case.
Mr. Durham, do you have any objection? State agreed?
Yes, Your Honor.
Defense request to continue granted April 24, sir. Stay in touch with your attorney.
Thank you, Judge. Good luck.
Morning, Judge. Oh.
Counsel, if you can call a case, please.
I can call one, Judge. I'm covering for Casey Etheridge. Defendant's name is Christina Beeman, B-E-A-M-A-N. Case number is 21 CF 1526. Ms. Etheridge informs me that she's in negotiations with the state, who is represented by Ms. Sandler. They have discussed the case. They wanted to ask for a continuance, and Ms. Etheridge has filed a waiver of the client's appearance.
And there is no objection to that, Your Honor.
Granted April 24.
Thank you, Judge. And I think on Mr. Meklovich, I think what it is he has a case, or had a case in the south end, he has a case in the north end. Mr. Clines has a case in the south end, or did have it, and I'm not sure which way the cases are going to be transferred, whether they're coming up here or going down there.
Is it MC or am I?
Both of them are going to come.
C-L-O-V-I-C-H. The question is, are you ready to deal with that case or not?
Judge, I'm not going to be, this will be me seeing it for the first time. In fact, I don't have a file on it with me,
Relatively new case.
and I'll need to go out to the jail and see him.
Mr. Meklovich, this is Mr. Williams, who is apparently your assigned attorney. He's recently gotten the case on you, and he needs time to help prepare the case to assist you. Do you have any objection to putting it off for him to do that?
No.
Do you have any objection? April 24, 9 o'clock. Your attorney will be in touch, sir. So that we don't have people pass out. In about 2 or 3 minutes, we're going to take a lunch break for 45 minutes.
That'd be great, Judge. Thank you.
As I told everybody at the beginning, this is a big docket today, and we're working through it really quite well. So why don't we just go ahead and do that now? We'll be in recess until 1:45.
Thank you, Judge.